You're listening to the Gettin Salty Experience Podcast.
Hello! Little Willie Fisher, Fish Jr. out there in the chat tonight. Hey, little Willie won't go, Willie won't go home, or something shit like that. And welcome back. Merry Christmas, all. Yes. Oh, he's got the red breast.
Breast. Did you say breast?
Tonight.
I said breast. Too bad he doesn't have good internet.
You heard that?
He's got the red breast, but he's got bad internet. Well, Merry Christmas. Welcome back. Mark G's in the little Marky G's in the chat too, Ruff.
Who we got?
We got a new guy in there called blah blah blah. I like that.
we have that guy too. We have that guy.
Oh, it's blah blah blah. What's up, blah blah blah? Huh.
Blah blah. Blah blah. Oh, there, look at that. Blah. Ooh,
Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas, blah blah blah. Merry Christmas to everybody in there.
Yeah, for sure.
21 Truck Tillman, Procaccini's in there, Mark Giannini, everybody's in there, bro.
Cons, how did does Santa treat you? I don't know. How did he treat you?
You know,
What'd you get?
You know,
What does the half Jewish boy get?
I don't know.
Are we running that joke too much?
No, here we go.
So nobody looks at you and cripples your soul.
Do you
You
put
don't have that in your family?
Why do you have a red pepper?
I have that too, but no.
I forgot. You're not. Your wife is Jewish.
Yes, my wife is Jewish.
You have a tree.
What'd you get?
What'd you get for Christmas? That hat?
Yeah, no, I have.
Did you get the Guppolini?
Yeah, I got a little bit. Yeah.
That hat. You get a free bowl of soup with that hat, bro.
Oh, you know, it's funny. I have that too.
Yeah.
I'll play it later when the time is right.
Yeah.
What'd you get, Coobs?
What I get?
Yeah.
I got some cool stuff, man. I got some tools. My wife got me some new tools. I needed some power tools.
Some wooden shoes.
I got some shoes with lifts in them. I got
Shoes with lifts in them.
What's
What's that vibrator thing? Not the one, not the
the what?
the little fucking for your back. I got that.
Oh, I got one of those for my hands because I have arthritis in my hands. I got a hand massager.
What do they call that? I forget.
A massage gun.
Yeah, it's a massage.
Something like that.
Very nice.
Got one of those last year.
I'm sure it has other uses, but it's very good.
Good,
on the
maybe.
side.
I'm sure it might.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Take this.
You
Take
didn't
this.
We'll use it later.
Any new internet for Christmas, did you, Ruff?
Why? My internet's
You've
bad
been froze on the same picture for
right now. I'm froze up.
you're froze up.
You want
Like this.
When we play a commercial, you come out and come back in.
All right.
You do something like that. What else did I get? I got hope my son bought me some Hey Dudes. My little
Those
guy.
things are great. Hey,
They
dudes,
they saved up out of their own little pockets, man. They're all right, those kids.
it's tough because of Christmas, Hanukkah, and then my birthday is this Sunday. So,
How old
gotta
are
try
you,
to
bro?
51.
51. Wow, it was good for 51. Get that hair going.
Maybe not so much with
Shit.
the beard. The beard adds age.
But that's a vacation beard, right, bro? You're on
Yeah.
vacation?
I haven't shaved. I've been looking forward to it. Shaving every day to going down to, once, just a little cleanup, so it doesn't look too terrible.
Yeah, do a little cleanup, will you?
Yeah, I'm going to try.
Is that coming gray or is that brown? What is it?
I don't know.
Ruffy usually takes it to the winter. Are you done for hunting or you going away? What do you got?
I'll be going away a couple times, but
Where you going?
not hunting really. Duck hunting.
Oh, but not like
Going
to
to
Idaho or anything. Arkansas. Why, they don't have ducks in New York? What's the difference?
He doesn't have enough property up there.
What is the difference between a duck in Arkansas and
There's
a
more
duck?
ducks in Arkansas. No,
There's more.
I hunt ducks in Long Island. I go by my nephews. You know
Right,
that.
but again, why do you got to go to Arkansas to shoot ducks? What are they?
The heads are greener.
Are they
What a guy that I
trickier?
met.
Like, did they move out of the way? Like, yo, watch out! Come get me!
They're a little slower.
They're a little
fast-paced
slower, a
New
little
York.
faster.
That's like if you want to go to fires, are you going to go to Whitestone? Is there fires in Whitestone?
What?
Answer the question.
Sometimes.
All right. If you wanted to go to more fires, where would you go?
You want me to say 103, right? I'm not going to say
You
it.
could
though.
say East New York, but you
Yeah.
get the point. So if you want to go to more ducks, you go to
Right.
Arkansas. Is there ducks in New York? Yes.
What do you shoot them with?
20 gauge. 12 gauge. I got shotgun.
Just shotgun because there's the better of a chance.
Sprays the shit out of him. You get him right in the ass. Sprays him. Right, you ain't missing.
Hopes I get
Quack,
one.
quack.
Let me ask you a question. Do you have the ding like the?
I do.
You have that?
That's not bad. You're not doing too bad.
That was
No.
pretty good. I was gonna say I don't hunt.
So that takes that brings them out, right? And then they go flying, or what? Do you rent the dog too to go get some, or?
No, my friend has a dog over there, actually.
And he lives in Arkansas.
He lives in Mississippi. That was the guy. I met him.
You met him at the
in
bar
the
that
firehouse.
time?
Yeah, no, he came to the firehouse. He was a military guy, and he came and stayed at the firehouse. Started bullshit.
This thing gets
That's
more
like
complicated.
15 years ago.
You get a guy from Mississippi to go to Arkansas who brings his dog where the ducks are.
Actually, I hunted in Ohio with him the first time. He grew up in Ohio.
What were you shooting there?
Deer.
All right. Anything else we need to know that you shoot? What?
I don't know. I like hunting.
You ever hunt humans?
I mean, it seems like that's coming. I don't know. Possible.
It's coming down the pike. I can tell you that.
I'm not opposed.
It's on the radar.
It's coming.
Aim small, miss small.
That's right. Aim big, hit big. All right. Let's go. Let's get some commercials so we can get my man Kevin Yoos in here, bro. You got a lot of... Mark Giannini says you shoot your mouth off. Wow.
Oh,
wow. Giannini giving you he's giving you 12 games right to the mush, bro.
After all the overtime I gave him, you see, that's what happened.
Ungrateful bastard.
Some of them a bitch.
Ungrateful bitch. Silver-haired fox.
Silverback. All right, here we go. New Jersey Fire.
Established in 1930 and under the current ownership since 1987, the New Jersey Fire Equipment Company handles a complete line of fire department equipment and supplies. Headquartered in Greenbrook, the company operates full 3M Scott service facilities in Ridgefield Park and Toms River, staffed by 10 fully authorized Scott certified technicians with a fleet of 6 fully equipped service vans. All New Jersey Fire technicians and sales representatives are active or retired firefighters, officers or chief officers, career and volunteer. They understand the business and the importance of their work. New Jersey Fire has represented Scott since Earl Scott entered the SCBA business at the end of World War II. Among other leading manufacturers represented by New Jersey Fire are Globe and Firedex Turnout Gear, Mercedes Hose, Task Force Tips and Akron Brass, Hygenol, Firehooks, Arctic Compressors, MSA Carnes Helmets, ChemGuard Foam, Alkalite and Duo Safety Ladders, BA Face Shield Protectors, Truckman's Choice Saws, Grove's Gear Racks and Washer Dryers, Supervac Fans, RPI, Streamlight, and many others. A New Jersey incorporated and based company, sales and service are limited to the state of New Jersey. Find us now at www.njfe.com. That's www.njfe.com.
Go. Right. We got to hit him over the head because we didn't have a show the other night. What are you laughing at?
Doula. Is it Arkansas where they say, don't you got a pretty mouth?
You got a pretty mouth.
Purdy,
and you go in there with the guys from Mississippi, so I don't know, man. Something's going on.
Shit.
Deliverance.
Yeah.
It is a book that will perhaps go down as the Report from Engine Company 82 of our generation. They Saved New York, written by Glenn Uston and Dan Potter, a retired New York City firefighter, explores the men and women of the FDNY and their respective journeys into the department. From everyone, from firefighters on the fire floor to those who were in positions of command, such as lieutenant, captain, and chief, and so on and so forth, this book explores their stories, told through their perspectives. Each story differs, but the mission is the same, and the common theme is this: those that put their lives on the line to save their fellow New Yorker, no matter the cost, no matter the situation, whenever they were in need. Get your hands on this book today. You will not regret it. Written by, once again, retired New York City firefighter Dan Potter, and the concept and photography provided by the one and only Glenn Uston, a member of the Fire Bell Club in New York City. They Saved New York, the men and women of the FDNY. If you'd like to purchase the book, you can do so at theysavedny.com. That is, again, www.theysavedny.com.
or go on to www.GettinSaltyApparel. We're selling it there too. And as of next week, if you don't even know this, I got a bunch of signed editions of Frank Leib's book. They'll be on the website next week when we get around to it. Signed editions. Signed copies, I tell you.
Right next to the pizza cutters.
They're coming too. Watch. You
fucking broke me down.
You shut it.
Whoa.
You.
Kev, I meant to ask you earlier, did Santa know you left the workshop?
He was working hard, my boy.
Oh, man.
Dude, I was working hard. I was getting it done, bro.
Yeah. Ask him what I tell him.
If I see another fucking guy send me something that he wants, that he ordered on the 20th, and I need this by Christmas, I'm gonna fucking get my car, go there and
I forgot to ask about that.
And it says 23 characters max, and they put in like 27, and they
or think
35.
Like badass ladder company. Like, yeah, all right, bro. Yeah, okay. Please save it. I can't.
I told him to kick the engraver like down
over?
the street.
Yeah, come on.
Knock it over.
All right, come on. Let's get
Salty sweatshop.
Yeah, I had the little Asians. I had my little Filipino boys down there doing it, bro. You know it.
That's too funny, man.
Yeah.
All right. Well, remind me when after we get Kevin here. I got a look-alike contest. I want to see. I think I know he looks like somebody. I want to see what you guys think when you're ready.
Is it like a movie star or something?
Yeah, definitely movie star. So
yeah.
All right. So when we bring him in, if he doesn't mind me, I'll poke him.
He's got the flat top. Does he look like Chet from Weird Science?
Chet.
That's not bad.
Right? That ain't bad, right? I'm a turd. Go ahead, bring him in, Ruffy.
Here we go.
All right, coming to the stage, FDNY Lieutenant Squad 270, Kevin Yoos.
Woo!
I like the flat top.
He's rocking the flat top, bro.
He is
right there.
And he's got the he's got the tough guy.
Got the handlebars.
Mustache going, bro. Who's all right? Show us. Who's the guy you think he looks like?
It was a goatee the other day, actually.
Oh, it was.
Cut it down. Yeah.
Well, so what do you got, Guns? Who do you?
All right, you ready for this? Are you ready?
Here we go.
You came up with this?
Oh, fuck yeah! I saw it earlier. I'm like, you know something? I think this is who he looks like. Let me see.
Good night.
Excellent.
If you want, I'll get up and get the wig and the glasses. I have them.
God,
you got your partner in crime.
Who sent that? Who sent that? Somebody sent that.
No, I was looking and I'm like, man, he looks just like that fucking guy.
Ain't a carry, yes.
I'm sure Kevin has heard everything that you could imagine.
Yeah, I don't know. I got a whole list of shit that guys are sending me stuff.
I said the birds were chirping on this one, man. Holy mackerel! All right, before we get to let's
get patriotic, because
patriotic.
Before we get it, all right, here we go.
This country.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
See, Mike should have been here today. He didn't know. We got a former NYPD. Mike would have been all over himself, spewing on himself.
That's probably why he didn't sign on, because he would be like,
oh, yeah. All right, K-Dog. So let's get into it. Let's go back to the early days, bro. Like where you grew up. Were you always in Setauket, or did you grow up out there? You grew up in the city? Give us the young days of a Kevin Yoos.
So I actually live in Stony Brook now, but it's adjoining Setauket. I grew up in Setauket and been here basically my whole life. My dad joined the Volleys in 1973. I was 3 years old, and all I remember is the Firehouse, and I just wanted to do it, So there's a lot of history here. I don't know if you guys saw the series Turn that was out there. I think AMC did it, or History Channel. But the coal perspiring Revolutionary War back in the day, George Washington credits the coal perspiring in Setauket that helped win the war. So there's a lot of rich history here on Long Island in the Setauket and Stony Brook area.
What did you say the name of that was? Turn?
Turn.
Let's check that out.
Yeah, it's a 4-part series, I believe.
What was it on?
But, It was either on History Channel or AMC.
Oh, I think it was
who's
on the
doing it
History
now.
Channel.
Yeah. I didn't even know they were doing it. One day I was getting my hair cut in town, and I see this guy walking around like George Washington. I'm like, what the heck's that guy doing over at the Brewster House over there? You know? And it turned out they were doing this series. It was very interesting, actually.
How many miles is that from the city?
We're about 60 miles out from the city.
Oh, it's not too bad.
North Shore, Long Island, right next to Port Jefferson.
Is that where we did the book signing in the Setauket?
We did that at Quorum Fire Department. But
Quorum,
about 10 minutes from here. Yeah, that's in the center of the island.
Chief D is where and what department is Chief D in? He was
well, Joey joined Setauket. They lived in the next development over from me in Stony Brook here, but it's all part of Setauket Fire District, basically right down the street from Stony Brook University. He's out in the middle of place now.
You and Joey were friends?
We weren't actually. I met him when he joined the Volleys. I joined in '88, and he banged on the door at the Firehouse one day, and I was there, and he says, "What do I got to do to join this place?" My father says, "I got to clean my act up." And that's how I met Joey. I knew who he was. I knew him in high school, but I didn't really know him well.
Was his dad a volley there?
No, he wasn't actually. No.
Really?
Yeah. He actually joined afterwards. After Joey joined. Yeah.
So he joined. What year did you say it was? A couple of years after you?
Joey joined in '89.
Wow. So you were riding back.
Was there a lot of FDNY guys working there at that time?
We had about 13 guys, I guess. They were city guys. You know, I mean, I didn't get onto the city until '95, but yeah, Chief Siegel, Bill Siegel, and Louis Andre he's in a report from Engine Company 82. Yeah, he's in Setauket, and
we had him on the show. He's like 100 years old. Okay, and he's old.
Was Brian?
He's 90. Yeah, he's 90 years old.
Was Brian still Valley there? No.
Brian's not. No, just his dad. You know, there's a few others. Jack Donnelly, Lieutenant Dennis Sock. He's in Setauket, and he joined later on. But quite a few guys.
So you riding? What were you doing for work at the time before you got on the NYPD?
Well, I was landscaping for a little while, and then I started doing air conditioning. I was an air conditioning mechanic. Did some plumbing, heating, stuff like that, and then I moved right on to NYPD. I was at the Volley House, and guys are like, "Come on, you got to take these tests." And I didn't even know people got paid to be firemen. Back in the day. I joined the juniors in 1984. I was 14 years old, and 18 years old I got into to be a fireman. And Richie Rotan's another guy. He was the chief at the time. Richie Rotan Sr. But,
you guys do any work out there? Some, right?
Yeah. Well, I just missed a fire the other day. Next block over from me. I was on my way to Pennsylvania. But
I mean, when you were a kid, did you see?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Missed one 10 minutes ago.
Around here and there. Yeah.
Yeah. So you took both tests at the same time. You took the NYPD. Which one did you
take? No.
So
I took the PD test in 1990. A couple guys from the Volleys taking it, so drove into Queens, took the PD test, and then I took the 92 test. That was the 0084 list. Got hired off of that, so I scored 100 on the city test, so the fire test.
So you're in the NYPD Academy. How long?
You guys had to come on almost the same time.
He was in the class right before me.
Yeah, you and Kev had to come on almost the same time.
Yeah, I was in the first class, July of '95.
I was in October.
With Joey D and
Joey
Billy
D.
Raw. Billy Raw.
He's
in Setauket. Yep.
Yeah. Joe Hunter, P.D. Brennan, ILP, all those guys.
Wow, all those guys were in your class too, Coop? I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yep.
I didn't know that.
So friends you are.
Yeah,
shit. You guys know each other?
Frick, Chris, even after all this time, I'm like, holy shit. So when you were in the squad, you knew all those guys, like through school?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
When I came out of probie school, I was like, oh shit, that guy was in my probie class.
I did not even know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot from that test that went to the squads.
Yep. Because that was the area we didn't know if we were going to be allowed to go because we didn't have that much time on. I thought you had to be first grade at the time. But that went out the window. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So you went to 111 in Bayside,
Queens.
So you're on a foot patrol, like walking down Bell Boulevard, checking out.
I was actually assigned. There were 12 of us that went there. We were all assigned to Bell Boulevard. We worked the shift 8:30 at night till 5 a.m. And Tuesday through Saturday nights. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
What year was that?
That was 94 into 95.
Oh, we were definitely in like, what was
we probably saw him
used to go downstairs.
We were probably chasing you down the street.
Probably. What was it called? 4005s or something else? Or something
Oh, there was the club that used to go down the stairs.
Yeah,
It was
I
right across
remember.
the street from the Pizza Uno there, whatever the hell that place
Oh,
was.
Yep.
that's right.
Yeah, like 39 and Bell up there. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
And
By
then
the
you had
movie
the
theater.
right, and then you had the
Movie
bar with the place in the backyard there that was over by the Irish bar, the big Irish bar.
Yeah.
Oh, by the train.
By the train, right?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
they had the same one in Queens. They had another one in Queens.
Yep.
I mean, we used to go to Bell Boulevard a lot, Coobs. In '95, I think we were going there.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
That's
probably
Richie's son. What he just wrote, the Captain 136. That's Richie.
Oh, that's Rich
Junior.
Yeah.
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 Yep.
Give us a couple shekels.
Yeah.
What was that like? Were you married at the time? Were you how were you doing over there? Were you
No,
on them in?
no.
Like what were
Yeah,
you doing?
no, I was living with my girlfriend, who's my wife now, Lisa.
Well, all right.
And,
So don't say nothing else. You might. I don't want to incriminate yourself. Right? But,
Ixnay on
Ixnay,
allegedly. We
Ixnay,
can use allegedly
on the Uzi pay. All right.
on the hooking up.
On the Uzi pay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you knew you wanted to be a fireman, though. You didn't really care.
Yeah, school really wasn't my thing. Back in high school, I was that guy that got by and did my
Right.
thing. And, I loved the fire department, just growing up around it. My dad taking me to the firehouse, and then, I would buff calls on my bicycle, brush fires and stuff like that, wherever I could go,
Oh, what'd you have?
Oh,
A
you had
Huffy?
it.
You had the Huffy, bro, with the
Yeah. No,
cards and the spokes.
I'd put my own bicycles together. I'd collect parts from town, and just put shit together,
He was
make it
Pope.
work.
Avanti was the club.
Mm-hmm. That's what they were
Yes,
saying.
that's
yeah,
right,
yeah,
bro.
that's it. Yep,
Look at
Jimmy
you.
James,
Yeah.
good man.
Oh,
pulled
somebody
that
came
one
up with
out.
that?
That's good.
Oh, what the hell was I going to say to you? I was reading something over here.
He was
Somebody
running.
just
He was
wrote-
buffing.
Oh, he was
Yeah.
buffing. Right. But then you got called for the FD. And
Yeah, well, I got.
Hold
the-
on, I want to
the
hear. Did
PD
you
well,
give any Motorola? Did you
Give
do
the
any
Motorola
beat downs over there?
shampoos?
Like
Yeah, no. I was
to the
yeah.
Ginsos over there when they
I
were
was
all
only
in Goomba?
I was only in the street 10 months, so it was kind of quick, and I got a lot of shit from the other guys that were on the old eligibles list saying, you guys aren't getting hired, and there was another guy that went there with me, Craig San Andrea, who wound up getting on the job too. We were both on the FD list, and his brother was a fire marshal on our job too. But I think they're both retired at this point. But it was good. Originally I wasn't even going to take the PD. Actually, Louis Andre was one of the guys that saw him at the Valley House, and he's like, "What are you talking about? The time counts. You got to take it." And I'm like, "I don't really want to be a cop," And he's like, "No, the time counts." And I'm glad he told me to do it because that gave me another year and a half basically towards my pension.
So that was at that time. It was still in front, right?
Yes, yeah. The pay, everything was up front. Yep.
Nice.
So yeah, my first paycheck in the fire academy was a basic check, and the week after I got retro and my regular pay. So it was pretty good.
Yeah, so we were talking about this in the pre-show because I didn't even remember until I saw his timeline. We were provisional firefighters, right? Because
Yes.
I think there was lawsuits on both ends. The previous test was suing us, and then guys off the new test who lived in Long Island because you got 5 points for living in the 5 boroughs in the city.
Correct.
So the guys from Long Island were taking a lawsuit out, and so they hired us as provisional, which was what you had said. We didn't know if we were going to be permanent, or they kind of told you.
We really didn't know. I mean, when the list finally did come out and we were hired officially, I got my list. My list number was only 43, which was nice. But the time just kind of went quickly and you didn't really think about it. And like I was telling you guys a little earlier, I didn't know I lost 6 months and 24 days towards my promotion to lieutenant. Because your provisional time only counts towards your pension. It does not count towards promotions, which was very interesting. Yeah.
I had no idea that even happened. Good thing I didn't waste my time studying.
Yeah, well, I called DCAS and, I'm talking to the lady and she's like, I said, so wait a minute. She goes, you signed something. Are you near a fax machine? And, you're in the academy. You just signing whatever piece of paper they put in front of you, in the fire academy. And sure enough, there's my signature on this thing that says my time doesn't count.
You don't know. You're just happy to be on the fucking job.
That's it. I was happy.
I'll sign that.
They gave you that little pamphlet in the beginning, say, here, sign all this shit. And
Sign all
you
this stuff.
sign it.
Yeah, you're a provisional fireman. Yeah.
Yep.
Son of a
Yeah,
bitch.
who cares?
Yep.
It could be like, you have to give you half your pinky. Yeah, okay, yeah, where do I sign? Okay,
Yep.
yeah, I'm on the job. Who gives a shit?
And I actually said to the lady at DCAS, I said, so if I stayed in the patrol car for 6 months and 24 days, that would count towards my promotion? She goes, yeah, absolutely. That makes no sense. You know, I'm getting experiences
I
with
don't remember
firemen.
that either. I don't remember that.
But it all worked out for the best, Kev. You got promoted
Yes, it did.
anyway. Went to some good places, but we'll talk about how we got there. How we got the 17 truck, roughly. Yeah. So you're in the academy. Who was in the academy? Were you anybody else that we knew?
You know, Rex Morris stood right in front of me. Basically, he was a company sergeant, the platoon right in front of me. There's a bunch of guys. I mean, I couldn't rattle off the top of my head who was there. You know,
Rex didn't pull the old
Palomini.
Do you know who my old man is? Do you know who my old man is? Do you know who my old man is?
I knew who his old man was already.
I thought maybe you pull one of those.
Yeah,
He doesn't do that.
A lot of great guys.
No,
it was interesting, you know, because it was weird times being provisional and everything else, and you know, guys with the 5 points residency, and you know, okay, you're from this borough, you're from this borough, you're from this borough, you know. No Long Island guys, but you know, half of them were, but you know,
no,
it is what it is.
Guys,
you know, nobody allegedly, you know. So
yeah.
I used my uncle's address when I applied in '92.
Yeah.
I was telling the guys in the pre-show that I had used my mother's address. I was still married at the time, and then I came home and my wife had all my shit. She wanted a divorce, so I showed up. It was almost like who was it? Like Felix Umdale when he knocks on Oscar's door with his
With all his shit,
bags in his hand. So I wound up living there anyway.
That request came from his wife.
Yeah.
That
was me.
That was a great show.
Yeah. Yep. All right, so you got this is the part we got to ask. Somehow, because we know that you knew Chief D, right? Like you were friends with Joey. This is craziness, but it's got to be like the stars were aligned. He winds up being assigned to Ladder 17 in the South Bronx.
How could it be? How could it happen?
How could that
just kind of happen? Yeah.
Well, happened out of nowhere.
So, like I was saying before, you know, Joey joined the Volleys right after me. We became instant friends, and you know, we did a lot together. We did a lot of training. We did a lot of drilling. You know, even on our own, you know, it didn't matter. We were doing stuff. So, you know, it was like one day. Yeah, so that's after Black Sunday, after he got hurt. But I think it's that September 11th, right after that, at the Volley House. We got a picture together. But yeah, so Joey, you know, he'd be hanging out and he'd be like, "Hey, you want to go to Bronx and buff fires?" And I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Come on, we'll go buff." And we get in his car with the scanner going. We just drive around the Bronx and just buff fires, show up at firehouses, and you know, it's funny, like 60 and 17, 60 had their 100th anniversary. I went with Joey to their 100th anniversary. I wasn't even on the job. And, you know, I wound up working there years later, and I'm like, wow, this is pretty cool. You know, like it's, yeah. And then, you know, when Desert Storm was going on, Chief D was, you know, he was a commander. Some got sent to Governor's Island. You know, we were still buffing fires in the Bronx, and we went to 50 and 19 one night, and we wound up staying the night. And it was really cool. So he's like, "Listen, you want to stay tonight? You know, you ride in the engine, I'll ride in the truck." I'm like, "All right, whatever. You know, this is cool. You know." So they get a run for a stabbing. So Joey's like, "Get on a rig." I'm like, "All right, jump in." You know. So this guy sitting across from me is Jack Poultry, and he's looking at me. He's like, you know. The other guy's Huey McCarran, and I'm like, "Hey, how you doing?" You know, and he's like, "Joey says you're an EMT." I go, "Yeah, I just got my EMT." They throw a box of gloves at me. They go, "You got it, kid. We're not." And I'm like, "What?" I'm like, I'm this white boy from Long Island. I don't know nothing, you know. Like, sure enough, like this huge crowd of people.
It's a talk it.
Yeah, right. You know, and this guy with a knife in his side, and I'm up there. I'm like, "Are you all right? Are you okay?" You know, like going through all the stupid, you know. And they're like, "No, that's not what you do, kid." You know, I'm like,
"I'll pay."
You know, it was like, "Oh my god!" You know,
prior prison, will you?
Yeah. So, I mean, I knew nothing about the city, you know, like except, you know, I was, you know, when I got on PD, I started learning a little more about the city. I've been to the city a couple times as a kid. That was it. Like, I knew nothing about it.
What do you got to take out, guys? What when you got the open wound, the occlusive dressing? What is that thing you got to?
Yeah.
Depends on what it is. Yeah.
You got to put tape on 3 sides.
Depends if it's chest wound. Yeah, you need a chest seal.
3 sides.
Come on.
That's it. Come on.
But you know what's wild is years later when I did go to 50 Engine, I was there during the rotation. I wound up working with Jack Poultry. I wound up working with Huey McCarran. You know, and
they remember you.
Yeah, well, you know, I went up to Huey and I go, you know, we sat on a rig together. You know, he goes, yeah, you're the white kid with the stabbing. You know, I remember you. You know, like, and I'm like, now I'm working with these guys, and I'm like, holy cow, you know, like this is amazing. You know, like here I was, this young buff, you know, just hanging out. Now I'm working side by side with these guys that I was looking up to,
cool,
and I was
bro.
like, this is awesome. You know, it's just incredible.
Where did Joey D go out of Proby School? I don't remember.
He went to 56 Truck. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he went to 56, and Jeremy Castle went to 48. They were good friends in, you know, in Proby School, and
what
they ended up there.
Billy Raw knew Chief D too. He went to 157 Truck. That fucker.
Yeah, well, Billy's father was also on the job.
Oh, was he? I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah. So
he's pretty big in the what do you call them? Fire marshals now, right?
Yeah, he's a supervising fire marshal.
Yeah,
you know, he's doing very well. Yeah,
I like Billy. He's a good dude.
Yeah, yeah. So you know, we had quite a few guys. There was another guy, you know, a few guys from the Valleys, you know, wound up on the job, and you know, it was just good.
You
know,
to get your first job
when you walked into 17.
Well, you know, we had a lot of like rubbish fires and stuff in the projects, you know, in the stairwell, stuff like that, and you know, stuff that nowadays we'd consider jobs. You know, back then it was like, yeah, just give it 1022. You know, like it was different times. You'd have like 4 mattresses going in you know, the lobby on the 14th floor in front of the elevators, and it was like, you know, 2 and 2, you know, we're good. You know, so you know, things have changed a lot. But it wasn't too long. You know, 17 was considered a B truck. The engine was an A.
Really?
You know,
a B truck?
Yeah, you know, they were just on the cusp. You know, guys joked around, you know, they didn't do all the fire reports just so they could stay a B truck, you know. Who knows? But you know, we would have towel out and went over to Harlem all the time. You know, we had a lot of vacants back then. It was pretty neat, you know, learned a lot very quick. You know, I didn't, you know, even reading the stuff in Proby School, you know, there's a brownstone, there's a row frame, you're like, what really is this? And you know, you go to 17, they have them all. You know, so you started learning very quick in the truck going in these buildings. But yeah, it wasn't too long.
117 and 17, we would swap. It seemed like every time I came back from a job, you were in the quarters, and every time I would go to 17. Most of the time I relocated, that's where I went.
That's where Milner was from, right? 17?
No.
Mannix was in 19.
17. Mannix was in 17 truck.
Oh, Milner was in 19 truck.
Yeah, Milner was 19.
Yeah,
oh, I gotcha.
Yeah. So, funny story about 117, you know. So I'm probably on the job 3-4 months. We relocate over the bridge. We go to 117. It's probably like 5 in the morning, 5:30. And I'm just, you know, snooping around the firehouse. I'm looking around. So I'm on the engine side and I'm looking at the bulletin board. This guy comes in with bagels. He's like, hey, what's up? Walks by me, puts the bagels in the back, comes out. He goes, what are you doing here? I go, oh, we're relocated. He looks over. He goes, I don't see an engine. And I go, no, I'm in a truck. He goes, the truck's on the other side. I'm looking at this guy. You know, I'm working 50 at 17. Everybody's friendly. We're all together in one house.
You're on the wrong side.
I go, no, I know the truck's over there. You know, I'm just checking the bulletin board. He goes, no, you don't understand me. You're not allowed on this side.
That's so
funny. And I
funny,
go, what? Man. And he goes, this is the engine side. That's the truck side. You have to stay over there. And I'm like, you're serious? And he's like, oh, yeah. And I'm like, all right, have a good day. I walked to the other side. But you know, that's back when they had the 2 kitchens and it was total separation. But I was just, I didn't know it was like that.
The love. Hey, bro, what was that all over anyway? Was there ever a one?
It's one of those things that probably, I'm sure there was something way back, but by the time even I was there, guys just did it because that's what was done. You know,
right.
Like it just,
guys probably didn't even know why they would do it.
Most of the guys, when I said that when I got there, it had already. The young guys that we came in, you know, and I got there 93, a bunch of guys got there 92 and 94, 95, right? And I ate on the engine side when we ate, you know what I mean? I didn't take my stuff back. And that was kind of like the beginning process where we started doing stuff together more. I mean, they still played ball together and they, you know, it was just something that old timers, you know, you got to shake them out, you know what I mean? And by now, you know, now they have the kitchen together. They made, you know, they changed the firehouse. So, it's, you know, those guys don't even know nothing about it now, you know, probably.
Yeah.
It's the same reason why they all hated the squad when we started, you know, because it's just the way it was, you know.
Right. Yeah.
And
Well, you know what I found too? They would tell the kids in probie school they hate the rescues and the squads all the time.
Yep.
Bro. I'm like, why would you teach kids? Let the kids learn on themselves whether they like something or not, man.
Yeah.
Don't fucking.
But so in 17, you know, one of the first things I went to that like really opened my eyes. I was probably there a month, and we get a car fire under the Willis Avenue Bridge. You know, it's like 2, 3 in the morning. You know, so it's a limousine. It's ripping. You know, end to end. You know, so they 60. You know, knocks it down real quick. So they're like, "Hey, kid, poke around in there. There might be a body." You know, and I'm thinking to myself like, yeah, you know, so I'm poking around with the hook and like I grab something. I'm like, what the fuck? You know, I go in there and there's a body. So I pull the guy out and he's got a gunshot right to the top of the head. And I'm like, oh shit, you know, like what the hell? So he's like, well, look again. There might be somebody else in there, you know. And sure enough, I go in there and there's another one. And I'm like, holy cow, like what am I getting myself into here? You know, I'm in the middle of the South Bronx. This is crazy, you know. So then like, you know, a week later, you know, that's back before direct deposit, all that, you know, you had check night, you know, you drive in, get your check or whatever. So my girlfriend at the time, I said, you know, why don't we go to Manhattan? We'll stop, get my check, and we'll go to Manhattan afterwards. So we go in, park the car on the front ramp, and I go, why don't you come in? She says, you know, I'll stay in the car. I feel better in the car, you know, like big projects all around, you know. I go, all right, lock the doors, you know. So I go to open the door to the firehouse, and I hear the car door slam, and I turn around. I go, what are you doing? She's like, that woman over there. I go, what? She's pissing in the street. And she's squatting, you know. And I go, yeah, there's a liquor store right there. They do it all the time. She goes, I'm coming in. I ain't staying out here, you know. And I'm like, okay, come on in, you know. Like,
welcome to the jungle.
It's a different world, you know.
Oh yeah, bro.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
So you were on the rotation, right, Kev? That was the rotation then?
Yeah. So when it started, you know, it was like everything else with that list, that 0084, everything kind of got piecemealed together. Things changed and evolved quickly. Like we were assigned to those units. I was assigned to 17 truck. Then like 3 weeks later, they assigned everybody to operations and said, you're going to manpower pool. You're going to be moved around. You know, like we didn't know any of this stuff, you know. And then the notebook started, you know, like a year after that, you know, everybody's got to have a notebook. You got to start taking all this stuff, you know. So things were a little weird, you know. But yeah, they started that rotation. Nobody really knew what was going to happen or how it was going to work. They're like, you know, you're coming back, you're not coming back, you know.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, in the beginning, it was like, you almost felt like you didn't have a home. You know, I learned a lot by going to 3 different houses in 3 years. I mean, seeing different people, meeting different people, different areas, you know, different types of rigs, you know, it was actually a very good learning experience, but it was like, you almost didn't have a home.
Oh, you just never got off probie school either.
Yeah,
probation, right? You were kind of like the new guy.
Treated like a probie in all 3 houses.
I've said that a few times.
Like,
I remember the young guys, you know, coming through 117, and by the third time, you know, by the third year, you know, this is this third, you know, by the time you went to a third spot, you know, you're still like starting over, right? You're still trying to impress the guy. Not that you wouldn't do that stuff anyway, but you know, you have to go really above and beyond all this shit all the time.
It's feeling out time. They got to feel you out. You got to feel them out.
Exactly.
I mean, even when I went to 288, you know, it was like,
it was went to engine 288.
Engine 288, you know, but you know, you had a lot of these senior guys from Hazmat, you know, and I respected them. That's when I was.
Wow, look at that. That was in the squad.
But I worked with Tito all the way to the left there. You know, Tito was in engine 288. Yeah. Hey, how you doing? You know, but
I don't care. Your time, overtime, anytime. I don't care.
I don't care. My tits, your tits, whatever tits. I don't care.
But that pitch is probably from, I don't know, maybe even 2000, 2001, 2002. I don't even know. But Salveson actually sent that to me. He goes, listen, I found this. Send it to you. But I was in 61 at the time when that was taken. But you know, even in 288 and Hazmat, you know, there was turmoil between the two companies. You had some younger guys in the engine. You know, there were probably 10, 12 guys on the roster. You know, the captain wasn't even there for a period of time because he was trying to get into Marine 6. He wound up coming, what was his name? Frank Connors, I think it was. He wound up coming back to the company, you know, so. But I remember one day, you know, I just did what I did in the Bronx, what they taught me, you know, you're the junior guy, clean everything, you know, so I'm going around cleaning and I'm getting yelled at by the engine, you know, seeing guy in the engine, stop cleaning, clean half the table, let those fucking Hazmat guys do something, you know, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, listen, I'm just here for a short time. I don't want to get in the middle of any of your crap, you know. And so he came in. He actually grabbed the sponge out of my hand. He goes, stop cleaning. He goes, go sit down over there. So I go sit down. Senior guy from Hazmat comes and starts screaming at me, why aren't you cleaning the kitchen? God damn it. I'm like, listen, bro, I'm staying out of your shit. You know, just do it. You guys fight it out amongst yourselves. I'm not getting in the middle of this shit. I'll do whatever you want, but I'm not getting in the middle of this crap. And now the two senior guys are screaming at each other, you know, and I'm just like, oh my God, what am I getting myself into?
Juvenile, bro.
Oh my God, stupid.
When I was on the rotation one time, I was working and I'm mopping the hallway, the upstairs from the bunk room to the bathroom. And I'm mopping the whole hallway, and I get to a point, and the guy goes, whoa, whoa, whoa. We don't go past this line. I'm like, we don't go. What do you mean we don't go past this line? We don't mop past this line. The engine mops past this line. I'm like, what? Like, you want me to go put the mop back and let somebody else mop from this point on? Okay.
It's crazy. Man. It really is crazy, you know, just like whatever, just do it, you know.
You know what that is? Those are guys who haven't gone to a fire to fucking, you know, stop the petty fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
That's,
you know, the guys in the Bronx, you know, 17, you know, we had some good guys. I mean, I remember even when I started, you know, Tom McDowell, and God rest his soul, he passed away, but I think I think it was like my second tour, and I was like by the house watch, and he goes, kid, come over here. And he smoked a cigarette outside. And he's like 6'5". He looks like an old man, you know. He goes, what year were you born, kid? And I'm like, 1970, sir. And he's like, he goes, first off, sir is my father. Don't call me sir. He goes, second off, I started here in 68 before you were born. And I'm just like, oh my God, you know, like, you know, and that's, you know, they taught me well, you know, and I tried to, you know, they always said, don't walk past a problem you can't handle, you know, just take care of it yourself. And that's the way I tried to do things. And, you know, sometimes you got yelled at for it. It's just the way it is, you know.
Did you catch any work over there?
288
in your second spot?
I actually, you know, I didn't catch a lot. I mean, we had a couple little jobs, private dwelling, small fires. They had a good ripping job, like 2 blocks from the firehouse, but I wasn't working that night. We did go to like a 4th or 5th alarm up in Astoria, I think on 31st Street, like half the block burnt down. That was interesting because I was setting up a multiversal in the street, and I kept looking at the building, and, you know, I wound up taking it away. I went to untie the ropes, and I'm like, let's just cut them. And they're like, the lieutenant was like, no, take it off. Pull the multiversal back, and the whole front of the store fell right where I was. And I was just like, oh my God, you know, so, you know, sometimes we get lucky. But,
you didn't go to the job that they had with the 2 Polish guys wrapped up in the carpet with the gun?
No, I missed that job. Yeah, that was, I went home that day. Yeah.
Dude, there was so much fire here, you know, because my ex-girlfriend, Dawn, lived across the street.
I had that. I was in 117. I went to that job.
Dude,
that job.
There were guys from Rescue 4 diving out the windows. That's how much fire was there, because they torched this place.
They said the chauffeur from, I think, 291 said he tested the hydrant, turned around, and by the time he turned around, there was a body laying there.
Yeah.
Like, you know, the person just jumped right out the window. You know, they said it was just insane.
Yeah.
We went there the next day. I worked the 2-day tours in a row, and
that's still a vacant lot there. It was like a parking lot. They never built anything on that spot.
Yeah, that was unbelievable.
Yep. Couple Polacks wrapped up in a carpet.
It
was a rug.
I think they found that guy like 2 days into it. Right? When they were tearing the building down.
The basement had to be filled up.
Yeah,
I filled that shit up, bro.
Just a little bit.
Just crazy. A little bit.
So where'd you go after 288, bro?
I went back in the front Bronx. I went to 50 engine. You know, so that was a very interesting time. They had 92 engine in with them that year. So,
oh my God, that must have been interesting.
Oh my God, you had, you know,
so you can only tell us about 5% of your stories.
Yeah, I can't tell you a lot of the stories there. I can't go there, but it was very interesting. You know, 50 engine had a band. You know, it was called Jack and the Caucasians. Jack Poultry. They played on Friday and Saturday nights, and you know, sometimes there was 7 to 10 rigs in front of the firehouse. It was very interesting.
In the firehouse, you mean?
What's that?
They played in the firehouse?
They played in the firehouse, yes.
Wow, that's gotta be cool. What kind of music were they playing? Like just
they just about everything, rock and roll and stuff. It was pretty wild.
Are there a single engine or the
50?
Yeah.
No, you had 50 and 19, 260.
Oh, 50 and 19, where Mike was from.
Yep.
Right.
Where Mike was from.
And yeah, 92
I didn't work with Mike,
was it?
but 92 engine was in that year. Yep. So, and they had some real senior guys. I mean, you had Joe Selly in the truck, Jeff Poole was there, 19 truck, Sean Parker.
Sean Parker. Is he still on the job, Sean Parker?
No.
Yeah.
I think
Is he still working?
Squad 1, I think.
Like Squad 1 still?
No, didn't he go to rescue or something?
Oh, he might be in Rescue 5.
He went to 3. Didn't he go to 3?
3? Holy shit, I'm fucking out of it, man.
Yeah, I think
he's
so.
a good
I'm not
dude,
positive.
man. He's a really
He's
good
a great
dude.
guy. Great guy. Mike McPartland was the captain then, in the truck, and we had Captain Sheridan in the engine, and Larry Sorensen, a lot of great guys up there.
Larry Mack was on the show.
Great
McPartland,
guy.
the chief, McPartland?
Yeah, he was the captain in 19 at the
I've been
time,
trying to get that guy on the show. Everybody says he tells a great story.
He's great.
Like,
Seelig, the captain there?
What's that?
McPartland.
Who was the captain in 19?
McPartland.
Oh.
Seelig was there, yes.
Oh, he was.
Seelig, yeah, he was there at one point, but not when
Seelig
I was
was a big dude, man.
Yeah.
That was a big fucking dude.
Yeah. Yeah. No, a lot of great guys, learned a lot up there too. Joe Sully taught me how to make a nice sauce, Italian sauce.
Oh, me.
Yeah. I mean, the guy was amazing. Go up to Arthur Avenue. He'd have a list of the stores you had to go to, specific products. From specific places,
brands, right? Specific brands.
Yeah, exactly. And
did you get to work in the truck at all?
I did a couple times. Yeah. I worked a couple tours across the floor, so got some good jobs up there too.
I'm gonna say, did you get some work up there?
Yeah. So it was interesting.
Yeah. And so you studied. Right? Did you? Yeah. Let's see. Oh, you went back to 17. So
so I was kind of reading all along.
Let me ask you a question. If the squads came out in '98, you had no interest then. You wanted to go back to 17.
Just going way back. I mean, I wanted to go to 41 right out of Proby school. Joey had said it was done in the past. I think Aldo Adisi or Tommy Foley were one of the last.
Tommy Foley and Aldo Adisi both went there.
So they were part of the battalion back then. It was enhanced engine 41.
Right.
And I liked that they did a little of everything. It was really cool concept. So it was something I was thinking about anyway. And before the squads were even coming out, I went to 41 and I interviewed.
Mm-hmm.
So when the new squads opened, I Joey's like, come to 61, I'm going there, and I was like, I want to go to 41. I really want to go there. It's down the street from 17. It's a really cool area,
Mm-hmm.
and eventually, I
don't think I would use the term cool area.
Well,
that place is a shithole.
Like a lot of junkies and ODs.
Dude, my friends.
There was a lot of cool stuff that went on.
Oh my god!
I mean,
what
you learned a lot. I mean, there were vacants everywhere. I mean, in 17, it was not unheard of to go down, to Bruckner or 134th Street and just, trim windows and doors and crawl around, do searches or cut roofs off buildings. Like you could do all that back then. There was just so much of it. Nowadays you can't even go in a building anymore.
Right. So when you talk to, I assume you talked to Chief D, did he at all approach that, try to get you into 41 as a pro?
Yeah, he said it wasn't going to happen. He basically told me it wasn't going to happen.
But you tried. You got to get an effort, pro.
He's like, I'm putting you close by that I can keep an eye on you.
Who was the captain there when you went there?
I was just going to say
17.
No.
In 41.
41.
41. I think it was Vomero back then. I don't even remember. It was either him or Spillane, but yeah.
There you go, bro.
Yeah, well, that was that was in 02. That was in after 9/11. We were basically Captain Banker in 61. He took me in 61, and I told him straight out. I said, I know you want a guy that is strictly 100% in on what you want in this company, and I said, if you take me, I will be 100% in. I said, I always wanted to go to a squad, and 41 was kind of the place, and now the 61's here. Joey says it's a great place, and I'd love to be here, and he took me.
They're actually doing a shit ton of work now over there.
They're doing a shit ton, right? And Joey always said, he goes, the work's going north. It's going to keep going north.
Yeah.
They I was very happy to go to 61. I learned a lot there, and in 2000. What's that?
Interesting guys there too, man. Holy shit!
It was yeah.
Look at that. Oh, who was that behind you? That's
Basso.
Oh, we see him all the time at the shows, right? Didn't he go to?
Yeah.
He went to Rescue 1 eventually, didn't he?
Yeah. great guy, very knowledgeable. You know, we had a couple guys came out of 36 truck up there, and Pat Toohey, and you know, actually that's from the 25th anniversary. There's your cousin in there, Louis.
Yeah.
He's not
Happy.
smiling. He's smiling, bro.
I like
What
to
the
call him Mr.
fuck?
Happy.
Mr. Happy.
But yeah, it was good times. I mean, there was a lot of turmoil in 61 at the time. You know, some of the original engine guys that were there weren't getting along with the captain, called the union on them, stuff like that. And you know,
How
the
many
captain would
guys
take
stayed
us
there,
out.
bro? How many guys stayed
What's
in
that?
60? How many guys stayed in 61?
Oh, originally, probably 14, 16 guys.
Yeah,
Originally.
they had a deep. I think they
Kept
might
a
have
lot.
had the most guys stay,
Yeah.
man.
Either them or 270. One of the two had a lot. 252 had a lot stay. I think, too.
252 had a lot of guys stay too.
I don't know
Yeah.
about 14 or 15, though, bro. That's a lot. We had one guy stay,
Yeah.
so it wasn't really much of a problem.
Well, once they started leaving, that's how I got there. You know,
Who
they
was?
needed people.
I'm trying to remember
You
all
went
the
and talked
names.
to Banker, and how long did it take to get over there?
Well, that's another funny story because he's like, I'll have you here in like 2 weeks. And it, you know, I went back to 17. I didn't say anything to anybody, you know. And Tommy Day was there from 17 Truck. He came over as one of the original guys. And,
Right.
you know, I worked with Tommy in 17. And, you know, he's like, this is great, bro. This is great. You know, it's going to be awesome. And, you know, I'm waiting. So I keep stopping in 61. You know, you got to show your face, you know. So I'm there one day and I'm leaving and I'm talking to Tommy Day. And who's walking in but Joe Brosey, who was from 17 Truck. And he's like, what the fuck are you doing here? Like that. And I'm like,
bro.
oh, no.
Are you kidding me, man?
Busted.
You
And
gotta be shitting
yeah,
me,
it was
man.
totally busted. He went
You
right
can't
back,
even-
you know.
Oh
next thing
my
you know,
god.
fuck Yossi's leaving. Give him the roof, you know. Fuck him. You know, like he goes, guys, don't leave 17 Truck to go to engine 61. It goes the other way around. They go
What the
61
fuck
to
was he
17.
doing there?
Oh my god. Well, he was visiting Tommy Day. You know, he just wanted to
right.
say hi, and you know, so
High
yeah.
and busted.
Dude, that's
Totally
crazy.
Totally busted.
What's the chances of that?
And the guys, they were all over. The guys in 60 and 17, they were all over me. You know, once that happened. You know, so
So
it
how
is
long
what
did
it
you have
is.
to wait then, bro? How long did it take?
It was probably a month, a little over
so
a
that's
month.
not bad. You can take a month.
Yeah,
with it.
nah.
Bro.
I got beat up, you know, whatever. I learned to take my punches, and you know,
Uh-huh.
you deal with it. But it was a great move. You know, I tell you the truth, I love 16 and 17. It was a great house. I mean, every place I worked was great, but I really enjoyed the guys there. They taught me, and you know, we went to some cool stuff and cool fires, and you know, it was just different times. But I always wanted to do more, and I wanted more opportunity, and that's what the squad was all about.
When did you go to the squad? What year?
March of '99, I went
99.
over, you know, as a onion skin, and I don't know when I was assigned. It was a while though before they assigned us back then.
I
Who's the
was pretty
senior
close
guy
with a
there in
bunch of those guys. I
61?
can't remember their fucking names right now, to be
Yeah,
honest.
no. I'm like the
Who's
same,
that?
bro.
61.
It's 61.
Yeah,
My
who's
cousin
this-
used to hang out with the Palumba.
Well, we had a lot of guys come over. So we had John Grasso from 48 Engine, phenomenal. They called him Johnny Pumps. You know, he was a phenomenal guy. You had Pat Toohey from 36
Yeah,
Truck.
Patty, I know. Yeah.
You know, you had
Workers
Faso.
Group.
Faso was excellent. You know,
Was Jeremy
we had a
there
lot
then? Jeremy Castle went to 61 too?
Jeremy was in 48. He went over just before me, yeah, and then he went to
60.
Rescue 3.
Right.
Yeah. But Captain Banker was there. Lieutenant Mike Fitzgerald, Dwayne Marcy, Sean Genovese. And Sean Genovese was a lieutenant there. when I got
Oh,
there.
great. I worked with him
Just
when I
got
was in
Sean's
Sean was
number
great.
too, for my cousin for the show, actually. That's who I got.
What's that? Sean?
I just got
Yeah,
Sean's
he's
number.
excellent.
Ah, he's a great guy. I worked with him
Great
in
guy.
16 and 39, man. Great guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was a
we had
fireman
great
in 41, I think, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, he was, and then he went back. You know, after 9/11, he wound up going back lieutenant in 41.
Who's the crazy Italian guy in 61?
Rafrano.
Tall guy. Yeah.
Oh.
Ziola. Tony Ziola.
Ziola, and there was another guy. Used to fight all the time. Got in trouble for fighting. What's his name there?
Fighting.
Yeah.
Al Lucetti was there, Italian. You had Louis Rafrano. Oh, Petagano.
Patagano.
Patagano.
He went to 252.
Dude, that guy was the best, man.
Oh yeah.
He was.
I think he did. He broke what's his name's balls that we got. John Destas. He was breaking
Oh,
Johnny
Destas.
Destas'
Yes, and
balls.
then John,
I think
and then
Destas
John went over
knocked
there.
him
I think
out.
they had a fight. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
I think
Chuck broke my balls quite a bit over time.
Chuck was
yeah.
a tough
We had
guy.
some issues.
He was tough. I liked him. He was a good guy. And
Yeah, he was.
Ziola was great, man. Loved him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought John Hopkins was going to pummel him one day when Lieutenant when he was there as a lieutenant.
Were you there when Hoppy was there?
Hoppy, yeah, I worked with Hoppy for a little bit.
Wow.
That wasn't a good marriage there because he came to us not too long after, right?
Yeah, he didn't get along with some of the guys there at all.
Yeah.
So, I always got along with him, but and
one
then
of
he
the
wound
best
up in the 50 Battalion, which was great. It was great having him over there.
Oh, Hoppy,
solid
dude,
guy.
I think he might have
Great
been
guy.
the best, one of the best guys I've ever worked with. Squared
phenomenal.
away, hard charging fucking guy, drilled.
Yeah.
Just
Yep.
great guy, man.
Was Spall there as the captain at some point, or no? He was.
Spall came after 9/11. So Captain Banker, after he was down at the Trade Center like every day. What was his captain's name from 102? Dennis Cross was his captain down in 102, and he was down there looking for him almost every day.
Oh, he was in the 3-5 battalion, right? The
Yeah,
chief in the 3-5, Dennis Cross, right?
Yeah.
He was
So,
102 guy.
he didn't really, after 9/11, he didn't really come back up to 61. And,
He kind of fell off the face of the earth. That guy. I don't even know.
Banker?
Yeah.
Great guy.
He sails ships or something, right? Doesn't he sail boats or something now? Or something.
He was phenomenal officer, and he just, the knowledge was just, it was insane.
Right.
I overheard him saying, I think my cousin was in 101. He couldn't get out of there, right? And he ended up doing a couple of years, 4 years there. Could not get out of there. Like he just, because nobody would go there, right? It was just a slower place. And I don't remember exactly how it happened, but I remember hearing Captain Banker saying something like he wanted some guys with a little bit of time, guys that were hungry, whatever. So I just went over to him and I said, "Hey, listen, man, my cousin's in 101. He just wants to get out of there, He's like, give me his number or have him call me. I forget how it worked." And literally within the week, Louis was over there. And, he's still, Lou talks about that too. He still shows up. He's out of there a long time, bro. He's in 132 as a lieutenant for 20 years. This November coming up, this next November, it's going to be 20 years. He's a lieutenant in 132.
That might be the key. Not smiling might be the key to it, bro. You know what I mean? What do I know? We're smiling. Maybe I'm not smiling.
But he still always shows up to 61 stuff. He always
we started a thing, where you go back. I haven't missed a summer. We have 6-1 day. So on June 1st every year, 61 gets together.
Cool. Yeah.
And we go back, and we have a good core group of guys. Whether you got promoted, retired, you go back and you show your face and you be there. Even if it's for 10 minutes, you got to be there. And we have a good core group of guys that go back every single year and make sure they're there show the younger guys that this is what it's about.
Mandeville was there too, right?
Mandeville was there. Yep, I worked with Mandeville. Yep.
And you know what the funny part with Mandeville, right, bro? He was breaking our balls when he was in 288. He was in engine 288 when he came in there. So, the fucking squad is here.
Typical, right? Yeah. I just talked to him the other day too. I talked to him.
He's a great guy too.
I still talk to him.
He does that thing with that bolt thing.
He just started with the chalk.
Right. I saw him in Jersey when I go to the show in Jersey.
Right, he told me that, Kev. He did tell me that. He's actually going to be in Long Island.
Oh, he's going to be at the show?
Oh, he's coming out? Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I know he was looking for vendors to.
Let me ask you, how long were you there before Joey went to Rescue 3?
Joey went there either 2000 or 2001. He went to 3, I think. So somewhere around there. He was there. He was in Rescue 3 for 9/11.
Yeah.
So,
Dude, I worked a detail up there, and he's a persistent guy, man. He was, you got to come up. You got to go talk to the captain. I'll tell him you're coming up. You got to come up here. It's the best fucking
That's
place
the way he was with me.
bro. He was Joey D. He's like, Coops, you got to come up at 3. This is the place you got to go, man. There's no better place than the planet. You got to come up. I'll tell the captain you come in. Dude, he had me cornered in the rig. I'm like, no problem.
Yeah. No, he was.
You're like, dude, I live 4 minutes from this.
4 blocks in 288, bro. I ain't driving in the Bronx.
It's okay. I'm all right.
Yeah, I'm good. You got the seat over there. I'm good, bro.
Yeah, and sometime in 2000, Captain Banker approached me about doing a show for school, and I'm like, Cap, I just want to go to Fires, man. I'm in the squad now. He's like, listen, you still get to go in at Fires, just not when we're an engine, and like, I was like, all right, if you really want me to do it, you're going to do anything for the captain. He was the guy, So I wound up going, and it was great. It was great being a chauffeur in the squad. And,
Especially as a squad, bro. You get to go wherever you think you need.
You go everywhere.
Wherever you want.
Yeah.
No better place.
So
now we'll talk about you getting promoted. Oh, hold on. Let me see. Where we're at. Yep. Get promoted in 2004. Let me see if there's any things here that that you responded to as in 61. Nope. All right. So let's go to
we went some fires, but
getting promoted and covering in the 18th Battalion in the Bronx.
Yep.
Where'd you go? What places did you like?
So the SOC support trucks just kind of really started up, or re-grooming from back in the day. I guess they were rescue support or whatever they were back in the day, and they added all those companies throughout the city, because they wanted some more specialty trucks out there. So there was no real plan of you had to go to this class to be a SOC officer or to work in a SOC support truck. So they're like, hey, you just came out of squad, right? Yeah. Okay. You're going to the SOC support truck. You're going to 46. You're going to, so I started working in the SOC support trucks all over. But it started off, I was in 50 truck for a little while. I was there UFO for like 3 weeks, and then just started bouncing around. And then, they had the problem up in 75 and 33. And I got sent there UFO for a little while, so.
Oh, that must have been great.
Yeah. So
how did you like the transition from being a fireman to an officer?
It was interesting. It took a little bit to kind of get used to. I think it helped a lot being a squad chauffeur and sitting in the front seat and seeing what the bosses do and understanding the computer and some of the things that go on in the front seat. I think that helped a lot. But still, when you're out there, your first couple of fires, you still think you're just a fireman. I'm just worried about myself, right? And then you're like, oh Jesus, I got 5 other guys I got to worry about here. What is this guy doing? Where's this guy going? It changes, and especially bouncing around. At one point I was in the 56R group. It's the old 5-6 Battalion group. 46, 27, 42 engine, 45, 58. You bounce through all those houses. Like you're in the engine one night and you're in the truck next night.
Our groups, no matter where you're at in any of those things, it's a great gig.
I mean, it was great. I mean, great houses. The guys were awesome, but you literally wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning for a run and you're like, shit, am I on the engine or am I in the truck? I can't even remember. I'm like, who's on the rig with me? And you're looking at the riding list, and it's bouncing around the rig and you're like, okay, all right. I think I know who I'm with today, but you start really quickly deciding that you got to take care of these guys. It's like I'm responsible for them. And it's that first couple times where you're just like, oh man, what did I get myself into? But I enjoyed it. I learned a lot. You rely on the senior guy. You rely on the guy in the left front seat next to you, and what do we do here? Where do we go? Oh, this building you do this, and this building you do that. And,
no doubt.
It's just you got to listen to everybody around you.
I worked at Squad 41 one time as a boss, and was a gas leak. I think at the time, they had implemented that, you don't get off or you're going in at this 1020, So, Squad 288, I didn't care when we got there. When we got there, we got off, right? We walked up, So I think we were second due, and we pulled in the block, and the brake went on, and I was getting out, and
stay right there.
Yeah, he was like, "Don't move." I'm like,
yep.
I was getting out. He's like, "No, Lou, we don't get off." I'm like, "What are you talking about? We're here. I'm getting off." He's like, "No, Lou, we don't get off here. We don't." I'm like, "Dude, don't F with me." He's like,
right.
"Lou, I'm telling you right now, second due, we don't get off a gas leak." I'm like,
yep.
All right, I'll stay on the rig. When in Rome, you do what the Romans do, And when we got back, he said that, whatever those boxes were, I'll let you know that it's almost like an insult, I guess, if you get off and you fucking walk up on the guys or whatever.
Right.
I don't know.
Well, I remember one of the places, I can't remember which company, but, we pulled up in front with everybody else and guys are moving around. And I'm like getting ready to get out. And he's like, just stand by, Lou. He goes, we go around the other side to get in. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, they're going to go in here and check this. We're going around the block to the other side. And I was like, all right, whatever, you listen to the chauffeur.
Exactly.
And sure enough, they get off, they move the rigs over, you go around the block and you go in another entrance.
We did that with 290 things, yeah.
Yeah, that was the regular procedure in that building. And you don't know that I mean, the SIDS information, the computers, and writing all that stuff in, and yeah, it's, only so many characters and you can only put so much. But like,
exactly.
If you didn't read that, it tells you you need 4 lengths of hose for that stretch. You're screwed. Like, you got to read that SIDS information,
Right.
because you go with 3 and you're not going to make the last department, So
yeah. We had those buildings on 65th Place. Remember, Roof? We had to go drive around the back.
Yeah, right.
In,
exactly.
You couldn't get to the upper floor, you can only go a certain amount of floors from that entrance in the back, and the rest you get to from the front. So that's when the chauffeur's got to be, especially if it's
LL, right? They were UL.
Yeah, LL or whatever the hell those were.
Well, what are those buildings over there by you? Is that 65th or 56th, where you go in on like the 4th floor and then you got to go down 3 floors?
Yeah, Hamilton. Yes. Well, it's Hamilton on one side, but it's 65th Place.
Yeah, but it's like a 10-story building on the back side or whatever.
Yeah,
right.
We used to have to drop the bottle out the window over there too.
Yeah. I remember when I was in Engine 288, we had a run. It was like a small fire on the 2nd floor. So I'm like, oh, we stretch off the rig, no problem. He goes, no, we're going down. And I'm like, what do you mean we're going down? It's like the 2nd floor is down 2 floors. I'm like, oh shit.
And if you don't know that, I mean, if
you don't know,
you're fucked. So it's up to the chauffeur to let you know that, right?
Yeah. So guys used to say all the time, they put 5 guys on a rig or 6 guys on a rig because one of us is going to know the answer.
Hopefully somebody who works there.
Some guys know and some guys don't. And, if you don't know those areas or you don't know what's going on, you got to really pay attention.
Kev, you say all the time, right? Like boys' night out, right?
Oh,
6 guys on the rig. Murphy's showing up, right? Whatever can happen is going to happen, right? It won't happen for 20 years, but tonight is the night, and it's going to be in a building that they don't know, and some bullshit like that, and hopefully nobody gets hurt. So
exactly.
So Kev, where were you? You got detailed to the DiBernardo family after the Black Sunday fire, right? Were you 61 go to there? Were they? Were you working? What?
I was lieutenant at the time. I was.
You already promoted?
Yeah,
oh,
I was.
Right.
I got promoted in 04.
Right. My bad. Yep.
So I was. I worked in 79 engine that night tour. So on the 22nd, I actually stopped by the Valley House, and I was chief, and I saw Joe. He was like 2:30 in the afternoon. It was snowing out, and I was breaking his balls. I'm like, hey, what do you got? Gray hair? He's got snow in his hair. He goes, what are you doing? I go, I'm going to work. And he goes, where? I go, 79. He goes, oh, I'm working in 3 tonight. Maybe I'll see you later. Give me a call. And we ran. They ran. We never talked. The whole night. And I got up in the morning. The next night, I was supposed to be in the truck. So I was going to stay originally, and then Joe Brosey actually was covering, and he was there early, and he says, why don't you take up, whatever. I said, I'll go home. I'll do my drive. I'll come back early, whatever. And I heard the second alarm go off, in the firehouse, and, it wasn't, they weren't going, but, I'm like, oh man, they got a job, and I got in the car and I started driving home, and I went straight to the Valley House because, they usually stand by in a snowstorm, and I'm sitting there and my phone rings and it's my wife, and she's like, where are you? And I go, I'm at the Firehouse. I'm at the Valley House, She goes, something's wrong. I go, why? She goes, like 3-4 people called here, asked if you're working. So I'm like, oh shit, So I pick up the phone, I call Squad 61, figuring somebody there, nobody answers. Call Rescue 3, nobody answers. Try Joey's cell phone, nobody answers, Called Rescue 3 back again, somebody picked up the phone, and I just said, hey, what's going on? Something happened? He's like, yeah, there's bad fire, a lot of guys got hurt. And I'm like, is Joey one of them? He's like, I can't tell you. I go, listen, I'm good friends with him. Tell me what's going on. He goes, Joey's hurt bad. He's alive, but I'm like, what? He's at Jacoby. I'm like, all right. So, I went over to DiBernardo's house, and Mrs. D was there. And I said, let me go get my truck. I'll plow you out and I'll take you to the city, By the time I came back, there was a Suffolk cop there. He's like, I got to take her. I go, but I got 4-wheel drive. I got a chief's car, like shoot right in there. No, I got to take her. I go, well, I'm following you. So I followed all the way to Nassau County line. Nassau picked them up, then to the city, I could have been there a lot quicker, but, a lot of firemen to Firehouse, and Joey was alive, thank God, but he was banged up bad. It was just chaos.
When's the first time you got to speak to him?
I saw him pretty quickly. I was able to get into him. He was pretty banged up, and then Mr. DiBernardo was conscious. He was conscious. Yeah,
he was.
Yeah, but they gave him a lot of drugs, and
I'm sure.
Mr. DiBernardo, Chief D called me on the cell phone and he goes, I need to speak to my son. He goes, Kevin, don't fucking lie to me. Is he alive? And I'm like, Chief, I can promise you he's alive. I just spoke to him. He goes, I got to talk to him. I said, all right, let me get a phone into him. And because he was in Hawaii at the time. And I put him on the phone with Joey. And yeah, so, but I was there, everybody's there. And, La Femina came in. I had already put in an application to come back to SOC. Chief Daly was the chief at the time. And, La Femina comes in. He's like, this is Mrs. DiBernardo, and this is Kevin Yoos, and Kevin's going to be assigned to the family like that. And I was like, oh, like I don't want to get in the middle of any turmoil with Rescue 3 or anything else. But he goes, no, Kevin and Joey are tight. He goes, he's going to be with the family. And I was like, all right, And then I got a call a little later. Joe Brosi called me. He goes, you're covered tonight for the tour. And I was like, all right. And next thing you know, 7th Division called me and they're like, you're assigned to the chief of department's office. I'm like, what? And Chief Kilduff was very close with the DiBernardos as well, and they assigned me right to Kilduff's office. And
did you ever get a chance to talk to Joey about the fire from his perspective?
Yeah, I did many times, and it's it happened so fast. Whether you talk to Eugene or Jeff or any of these guys, they all have similar perspectives, but slightly different. And Joey had a little bit of time, being in the end room, but his arm was all like cut up where he put the rope around his arm and everything to hold Jeff, and it's just. I remember the first time I got to that building, and it was weeks later. I forget when, but I left the hospital at one point, hospital special surgery, when Joey got moved, and I went up there and I stood at that window and I looked down and I'm like, I don't know if I could do it. I really don't know. And but I mean, I was literally like shaking, most of the time. I was a mess. And people talk about counseling and stuff. I didn't go to counseling after that happened. I really should have.
Right.
Because I was beat up. I mean, Joey died a couple times in the hospital. I was there one night. I came home really late. We had a department car, and I came home, and probably like 3, 4 in the morning, my wife's like, where the hell you been? This and that, blah, blah, blah. And I just broke down. I started crying. I was just losing it. And I go, I'm quitting the New York City Fire Department as soon as Joey gets out of the hospital. And she's like, what? And I go, I can't do this anymore. I go, I'm going to friggin' die in a fire. And I literally just broke down. I was a mess. And probably the best thing that happened to me was going to the rescue school, because it kind of took me offline a little bit. Right. I kind of regrouped myself a bit. But even the first couple of times I worked in some of these companies, I went back and I'd wake up in a nightmare, like, sometimes after a couple of runs in the middle of the night, and I'd be up all night, just like the next fire I go to, I'm going to die. Wow. It was just weird, but having that
you have to go to that first one to get it out of the way. Like, did you feel better?
Really, the first fire, when I went in, started crawling around a little bit, and I was nervous, and then everything, I took a couple deep breaths, and everything just started coming back. Like, I know what I'm doing, I can do this, and it probably helped a little that I had, guys like Pickford and Seeley breaking my balls for a year in the rescue school, but
right.
Sometimes you need that. You need to get beat up a little bit and just get your balls broken, and you come back to reality sometimes. But it took a lot. It took a lot out of me, man. Seeing him, seeing Jeff and these guys in the hospital and how banged up they were, and then listen to those radio transmissions. Still to this day,
oh my God,
transmissions come on, and my hair standing up in my arms, the back of my neck, and I start crying.
You know how many times I listened to that where we would drill on that in the firehouse, especially if we got new guys in the squad, and we would go over that. I mean, I don't know how many times I listened to, because we used to go over the Maydays. We used to get all the the reports, right? We used to get the reports when they came out, and we used to have them filed, and we used to go over those reports all the time, and go over the transmissions, and that's listening to Myron and those guys giving in the first. I could hear that Mayday, 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 Mayday. I could hear that.
Just start elevating.
Oh my God! Just even from losing water, and the whole process, and what was weird for me was that Richie had died that day, obviously, and I don't even remember any of that stuff with the Bronx, because I wasn't really paying attention to any of that stuff. I didn't know anybody. I knew the names somewhat, but I was so focused on him and his family that I don't even remember anything that was going on up in the Bronx, to be honest with you. You know, especially those for who was banged up, you know, and I knew Joe pretty well. I didn't know him that great, but I knew him from going to stuff with my cousin. And, but I didn't know who was in bad shape, how, you know, like to that extent so much, because I wasn't really paying attention to it, you know, because I was doing what I was doing. So.
And for me, like I said, I mean, I was bouncing in the Bronx. I worked in 46. I worked in 27. You know, that was part of the R group. You know, like I worked in that Firehouse weeks before. That could have been me. You know, like you know, and you know, Jeff, you know, says it a lot. You know, he's like, you know, it can happen to you, or it can happen to me, or whatever he's saying is like, you know, you never think it's going to be you. You never think. And like, I look at a guy like Joey D. You know, and I'm not putting anything past any of those guys. I mean. They're all Bronx firemen. They all had time, you know, except for Brendan. He was brand new Provi. But, you know, these guys know what they're doing. They go to these buildings every day. You know, Joey was a phenomenal fireman. Everything I knew about him from day one, he knew the job inside out. He knew the books. You know, I mean, we worked together in 61. We went to some great fires. I went to some great fires in the valleys with him, you know, and like I'm looking at him and saying, this can happen to him. This can happen to Jeff Cool. Like, these are guys I know, I worked with, you know. Yep. And I'm like, what would if I was up there? What would have happened to me?
And
like,
what would you do?
I have done?
Where would you go? Like, what would you do? Right.
You know? And everybody second guesses it and says, "Oh, it would have been this, or I would have done that," or you know, you're not.
Kev, I say all the time. I don't want to interrupt you. I thought I was interrupting you before. I say all the time. It happens so when you're in that situation. It's happening so fast. There is no time, right?
No.
You know, we talk about this, like I've heard the stories, right, about what the guys did. All this stuff is happening in milliseconds. Like, you know, from the time they decide this is what they're doing to the time it's over, you know, you listen to the tape, it's over, right? Get a line over the roof, over the side, right? And then it's over. They're like, lower the guy to the bottom, right?
Yeah,
it's
the guy's screaming for a rope to the top,
but it's done.
to the roof. It's just quick.
All those things are happening so fast, you know,
and guys were doing it. I mean, you know,
legit.
41 set up a rope rescue. Jimmy Hodges went over. Like,
legit.
You know, you think about all the other things that could have went wrong too. You know, guys were doing their best, and you know, it's just, I don't know. It's just
guys are doing their best. Legit.
They did everything they could. But,
that's the line.
Until you're in that situation and you got to make those decisions.
Yeah, right. It's easy. It's listen, you know, and like you said, those guys were going over. You know, the fact that Joe, I mean, I still to this day, I think, you know, the fact that he held the rope for somebody is just, it boggles my mind because, I mean, if you're on this job long enough, you know, listen, we're there for everybody, but there's going to be that one time, that little bit of space where you're hanging on to yourself, like, holy shit, man, I'm close here. Like, you could fucking bite it at any time. And to even still be thinking to do that, like, that's no shit there.
What a guy he was, man.
But you know the way, the way it is in the squads and the rescues, though. The way we train, the way we work together. You know, like, you know, the people around you are going 100% every single time, every friggin' run you go out the door. You know, there wasn't a day that I worked in any of those squads or rescues that I didn't think that somebody was going to come for me, whether they like me or not. They're coming. We are the last line of defense.
I say all the time,
we're
coming.
We are going for
our guys are coming. So that's it.
You know, and you know, we joke about it in the Firehouse, and we break each other's balls, and like, you know, we're gonna die together. You know, like, you know, you don't want to think that way, but you know, the guys are going with you.
We used to laugh all the time. You go.
Dude, I'm just going to say that.
You go.
We go. Gonzo, play it.
No, you go.
You go. We go.
But I remember Bellotti always used to say that. You go.
Bellotti. Oh, Christ.
Oh, shit, man.
Or Trevor Jones. We're going to the burn center tonight. Come on, let's go. You know, like.
All right, so
but, you know, it's just. No, it's just. You know, you never know until you're going to be in that situation. You know, and we've had some close calls. I'm sure you have. I have. You know, where you sat there and said, "Wow," you know, that was a close one. But you know damn well until you're making that decision at that final second, you don't know what's going to happen.
Nope. And
Made
there's a
me
lot of other
retire.
things that are out of your control. No matter what decision you make, it's out of your control, man.
Exactly.
You can make all the right decisions and still it could go wrong. So that's why it's a dangerous job, gentlemen.
Absolutely.
All right, so you get detailed to the rescue school in 05, and I guess you're down there with Mr. Met, Pickford, and Fat Daddy.
Yeah.
No way.
So,
you three were together?
Yeah. Well,
Oh
so
my God.
when
how'd you do it?
You had to be like
it
a
was
punching
interesting.
bag.
How'd you do
I
it?
was a punching bag. Every single second I was a punching bag. But I got used to it.
Those two guys
great
that have to be
guys
the fastest, the quickest tongue. Those two,
like that.
There's nobody faster than Pickford and Sealy.
No. So
Sealy's old now. He's horrible now, but back then he was good.
So when Joey was in the hospital, I was there, pretty much every day. There were a few of us signed to his family and helping out and everything. And then, Chief Daly, Chief Kilduff would call me all the time, ask for updates, what's going on, So towards the end, I knew Joey was going to be going to rehab, and actually Captain Spall called me and he said, he goes, how's everything going? Blah, blah, blah. And then he says, listen, I got a call from Chief Daly. He's asking about you. He's going to ask you to come to SOC. So I said, okay. So he's checking around, and he called some of my old officers and captains, and he goes, he's going to offer you to go and run the rebreather unit. And the rebreather was like brand new back then. I'm like, oh man, do I really want to do this? But I want to get back to SOC. I'll do anything kind of thing. So, I was kind of talking it over, and I was expecting to hear rebreather, and he calls me and, he's like, I did some checking into you, blah, blah, blah. I'd like you to go to rescue school. And I was like taken back. I was like, really? I'm like, that's like an honor, I appreciate that, I said, but I got to work it out with my wife because she works, and I work, we got kids, we got to figure it out. But so Captain Bolcher was there originally, and Todd Smith, and then I took Joe Light's spot. So the three of us were there originally. Then Jimmy Murray took over, and then Pickford came over, and then Sealy was assigned to scuba, and then he kind of was with us. And,
you do scuba?
Yeah.
You do scuba?
Yeah,
You up for scuba, Sealy? You up for scuba?
Yeah, we had four of us in the office, and I was the quick punching bag every day. And
oh my God, I can't even imagine what you were doing. What you were doing in there.
I was like this. My head just kept going back and forth, like this guy and this guy, and they're across the room, and I'm in the middle.
Those two guys are like sharks. You were like a bloody.
I tell you, it was great though. It was great working both with them. It was phenomenal times. And so my cousin gets on the job, and he's in Proby school, and the DIs would stop in all the time and say hello. So I go, hey, how's my cousin doing? He goes, what's his name again? And I tell him, and he's like, he goes, oh, he's in trouble. And I go, he's in trouble? What'd he do? He goes, he forgot his cap. So I'm like, what? He goes, yeah, he forgot his cap. He goes, I got him. I gotta call him out. He's, gonna get a demerit card or whatever, whatever. So I go, can we go break his balls? And he goes, no, we do that, and this, that. So I go, well, what about Sealy? So he's like, I don't know. So Sealy like flies off the cuff with a couple things right out of his mouth. He goes, he'll be fine, like that. So we go upstairs, and he's in like building 11, and they have me hide in the hallway, and they call him out, and then Sealy just boom, 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 boom. My cousin is turning red. Sealy's berating him in the hallway. He goes, "Would your mom dress you this morning? What the hell's going on?" Blah blah blah. He goes, "Do you know how to dress yourself?" Blah blah. And he just goes on and on and on. He goes, "You got anybody on the job?" He's like, "No." And he's like, "You sure you have nobody on the job?" He goes, my cousin's on the job." And he goes, "Is it that guy down the hall?" Like that. And I go, "Hey, how you doing?" And he didn't know what to say. But Sealy beat him up for like 5 minutes in the hallway. And the DI was like, "That was awesome." But,
Where is he now, that young lad?
I think he's still in. I think he's in 72 engine now.
The war wagon.
Yeah. So it was just an interesting time, But they're two great guys,
Oh my God.
So how long did you spend down there? Only a year?
Yeah, that's what you're doing.
So at that time we were
1
doing
year?
like a year in the rescue school. I told Chief Daly I wanted to make sure Joey got to rehab before I went over there. So I went up in the rescue school for a year. Worked on a couple different projects, and then we had those conveyor belts. Do you remember those conveyor belts? The pods. We had all the pods, the wood pods, and we were taking care of that stuff. And Chief Norman came in one day, and he wanted to buy 2 more conveyor belts. And I'm like, Chief, like, we're really not even using them now. And he's like, well, they could be used to this and that. I go, you ever think about like a machine, like a skid steer or anything? You know, he goes, well, what are we going to do with that? And I said, well, at a collapse, we can, pull some stuff out of the way. We can clear the street for a tower ladder. I gave him all these suggestions. I said, if there's a storm, we can move trees with it, And then like 2 weeks later, I got a call from Chief Siegel, and he's like, he goes, you were talking to Chief Norman about some machine or something? I go, yeah. He goes, I need all the information on my desk by Monday. I go, what? He goes, they want to buy a machine. I'm like, oh, okay. So I was a landscaper years ago. I kind of knew a little bit about them, did all the research, had a package delivered over to them. Next thing you know, they bought a skid steer. So we set up
a skid steer.
Yeah, so we,
Yeah.
I was trying to find
digging-
some pictures of it.
I have. I'm digging one up right now. You can keep chatting on. I'll pull it up in a minute.
Yeah, so we bought a John Deere skid steer, put it in a pod, and
Collapses.
it wound up working out. We used it for a lot of storm stuff in Queens when the tornadoes rolled through. I think that was like 2008 and 9 or whatever it was. I don't remember, but I was working in 270, and I was assigned there. Yeah, it looks like that.
Something similar to that with tracks, newer version, but
it's a John Deere one. But one day I'm going to work at 270. It was March. It was right around St. Patty's Day in 2008. I was just recently assigned to 270, and Chief Siegel called me on the way to work, and he's like, "Where are you?" And I'm like, "Going to work." He goes, "No, you're not." He goes, "You're going to the crane collapse in Manhattan." I go, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "A crane collapse. There's people trapped." He goes, "I need the skid steer there. The chiefs want to see it there." I go, "I have no way to transport it." He goes, "You figure it out in your next hour on the drive in." He goes, "Just get it there." And I was like, "Okay." So we wound up getting there. I called up Carl McBratney. He met me at the Rock, and we threw the thing into a pod. We borrowed some chains from Fleet Services, and I was there for 3 days.
Call McBratney.
First operation of the skid steer.
Yes, bro.
McBratney, great guy.
Man.
So the skid steer turned into a whole big program. We now have 2 of them. We cleared a lot of debris at that crane collapse, and
they did the gas explosions with that. I remember, right?
Yeah, there it is. Yep. So it worked out very feasible to the job. And then when we had the tornadoes run through Queens, the FDNY got an A rating for the cleanup, and all the other agencies got like C's, F's, even sanitation, and the Queensboro president bought us another one. So
nice.
We have 2 machines now. Yeah.
But let's get back to it. How did you get assigned to 270, bro? Because you were bouncing around, sock.
Yeah, so I was bouncing, and I was trying to find a picture of the odds board put up in 270. It was pretty funny. They had an odds board. It had all the different names of people trying to go there. I wish I had a copy of it, but it ran all the way down the wall past the whiteboard.
Whose spot was it? Who had left?
Rigoli's spot.
Okay.
So, I was bouncing around. I was very interested in Squad 1 and 252 and 270. The 3 companies I was really looking to go to if possible. So I was trying to go to 252. It didn't happen. I wound up doing a vacation in 270, and Rigoli was leaving, and Lafamino and I were talking, and he's like, he goes, "You're going to stay there, UFO." And I was like, "Okay, that's great. I would love to stay here," and it just that's when the 12% came around. So that was a whole nother interesting feat.
Oh, there must have been guys coming out of the woodwork then, bro.
Oh God, everybody in the mother wanted a spot, even guys that weren't even sock. We had 126 in with us at the time. I remember Paulie Wachter breaking balls. "I'm the senior guy. I'm getting a spot in 270, and I said, "All right, put in for it, see what happens, But it worked out. It just I fell into a great place with some great people, and I loved it. I loved it in 270. I mean, we were going to fires.
Who was the
We didn't have
captain when
Rescue
you were
4.
there?
We didn't have Rescue 4 beating down our doors. I mean, we'd
Right.
go to fires. We'd be walking out, and they'd be pulling up, or they'd be turned around, which was great.
No,
Phil
that's
DeLuca was the captain.
was
Actually,
good, too.
Bolger was still assigned on paper, and I had just I was in the rescue school with him, and then DeLuca was there, and I didn't know what was going to happen, and I wound up getting a spot. I was actually in Disney World, and Richie Bordilli called me, and he's like, "Did you hear?" And I said, "Hear what?" And he's like, congratulations. He goes, you got the spot. I'm like, thank you.
He's still there, isn't he? Where is he?
Yeah,
he's a
Bodilli's still
senior
there.
man.
Yeah.
Oh no, I
Wow.
think
No, Andy's
Asian
the senior
Andy.
guy. Yeah,
Asian
Asian
Andy.
Andy, and yep, and then Richie's second. But
Wow.
Richie's been there a long time. Richie, and
you were
Andy.
there a long time, weren't you? There as a
12 and a half years total.
that's
I
a
think.
long time. That might be the longest time there. No,
We were there.
I think I might be the longest there. As a
I got
boss.
into 288. I came back in 2009, 2008, 2009. We were there pretty much the same time, like 10, 11 years.
Yeah.
I was there 11 years almost, right?
Yeah. I got June 07. I started there. I was on vacation. Did a vacation. Went to UFO spot, and then I got the spot in February over.
When did you start writing Christmas tunes? That's somebody that sent me that you wrote
What?
Christmas songs. Yeah, John. So you have that Christmas song?
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
boy.
Yes, I do. As a matter of fact, I think it goes a little something like this.
Oh God. Yeah.
Oh, play it.
That's what you gave me.
Yeah, that's a Christmas song. Yeah.
What is that?
It's something that it's a whole little skit that he
Gotta
sings
love these guys with 270.
I don't even know what it is, and it's funny.
I'd have to show you the video. But the video that goes with it.
You got the video? You can't pull it
Give
up.
me a couple seconds. I'll pull it up.
Just a little bit. I don't want to get knocked.
Yeah, I don't
Who's
wanna
that?
get-
That's got to be like
Who?
Martin or Hoff or somebody.
No. He's a very short little guy.
Moyak.
What?
Moyak?
Nope.
No,
They have slanty eyes. I don't know.
Oh, all right.
Oh,
Everybody's a funny guy. You know?
Oh, wait, I got more. You
Listen, they broke my balls when I got there. and
I
it was-
can't
it was
imagine
fun.
Kev, like what they were doing to you. I can't even imagine.
I got some stuff. You want to hear it?
They don't,
Is
they
it
don't
called
drill.
co-
They don't
cover-
drill with covering Kev. They don't drill with covering
That's
Kev.
it,
That was
bro.
another good one.
They
That
don't
was
drill
another
with covering Kev.
We don't drill with covering Kev. Yeah.
We called to this day we call him covering Kev.
Yeah.
They used to say we don't drill with covering officers, and then
We don't need the Bronx guys here. You know, I heard a lot of stuff. You know, like you're a Bronx guy. You know, no, you first. No, you first. You
No,
know?
after you. No, after you. Right.
After you. You know. So it was a little different.
Oh
being
no.
there.
That guy.
all right. So
Motherfuckers.
we'll play just a little bit of it. Here we go. Let me make it a little louder.
God. Nice. Touche.
What is that? Is that supposed to be your head? Is that what that is?
Oh God.
Who was the biggest ball breaker, Kevin?
Yeah, I knew this would be a good setup for me tonight. You know.
Right before we get any dings.
Who was the biggest ball breaker?
Nice.
Is it Andy?
Oh, they all were. Listen, they all were.
What they call it? What's the whole thing behind covering Kev? I don't get it.
No, when I was covering there, you know, it was just like the big joke.
so
Oh, covering Kev.
Oh, so even when you got the spot, they called you. They said to this day.
Oh, they would still break my balls, you know. Listen, nobody knows anybody. You know, we joke around. We were joking around before the show about pedigrees and where you come from, what you do, what's your background. You know, and listen, the job follows you around no matter where you go, what you do. It's just the way it is. But when I went to the Bronx, they're like, this guy isn't going to be a tough guy. He's going to be. I went to a couple good fires, and they're like, boy, Yoos ain't afraid of fire. And I go, no, I have nothing to prove here, bro. I've been to fires before. It's like, what do you think? We don't go to fires in the Bronx, but you know what? They were all tough guys, man. They were tough firemen in 270. We had some ripping jobs, and they would go anywhere I went, and I would go anywhere they went. It's just, guys joke about, the dollhouse fires in Queens, and this is nonsense, and this, that. We were in the land of basement fires, and we went to fires, even as an engine, first, second, and third dude, we did a lot of work in 270, and that's one of them, but doing many, many fires that you just was one after another, sometimes a couple a night, and you just love doing it. That particular fire there, that was 9-5 in Lefferts, we had a strip along 9-5 there. I can't even count how many fires I had between the two sides of the street right there, which were both vacants. 116th Street and 9-5. You know, we just kept going to fires in the same
That
areas
looks like
over
a
and
Queen
over
Anne
and over.
right there.
But, yeah, that's a huge Queen Anne. It was a medical office on the first floor at one point. It was a vacant. We had squatters living in there. About 2 weeks before that, we went in there. I actually took a big propane like turkey burner. They were cooking on the front porch. I took it from them, you know, confiscated it. But, you know, we had a run there earlier in the night. You know, we saw them there, and we had that run like 5:30 in the morning. Turned out really quick. It was blowing out the windows.
That's pretty close.
Ran up to the front door.
Right?
Yeah, bro.
You know, a cop took that picture. We have video of it. But it was roaring. And we got up to the front porch. Frank Mantigari was with me, you know, with the irons. And, you know, the cops are like, they're in there. You know, we were here earlier. And I'm like, all right. You know, so we forced the door, ran up to the top of the stairs. You know, I just took one look at Frank. I go, Frank, stay right here. I'm going to give it one shot down the hallway. And, you know, I high-tailed it down, you know, the rooms that are up there, you know, just taking a quick look. Got really hot. And it lit up on me. And I came crawling out. I was on fire. Frankie was panting me out, you know, my flashlight, the strap melted right off of me, you know, and you could see the imprint of the SCBA. And, you know, they brought the line right up. We knocked that fire down. We put it out. And,
Are you an
know,
engine at that box?
What's that?
You were an engine at that box?
Yeah, we were first due. Yeah.
Oh, it's right down the block from you guys. Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, but I remember coming out, and Chief Cunningham, Joe Cunningham, was the deputy. He just looked at me. He's like, "What the hell happened to you? Didn't you have the line?" You know, and I go, "I was up there before the line, Chief." You know, but you know, the guys did a bang up job. You know, we put a lot of fire out there. That thing was roaring. But
who was your chauffeurs?
Well, you know, I went through a couple people over time. You know, Tommy Kemp was driving me with Pete Mislinski for a while. Then Pete went over to the captain's group when Tedeschi came over. So then, you know, I had Bordilli, then Kemp left. I had Giannini. So I had Giannini and then, you know, Johnny Hoffman, you know, Bordilli, Hoffman, you know, so.
Hoffman's still there?
You know, Hoffman's still there, yeah. Him, Richie, Andy, you know, I think Trevor's the other chauffeur now.
Trevor's still there too, huh? That's right.
Yeah, a lot of guys. Yeah, Trevor's in that picture there. Lagnice, who's on the left there, he's a boss in 270 now. He's a lieutenant. The second guy I think is Bedell. Bedell's in Squad 8 now.
That's right.
He's a lieutenant there. Yeah. So that's an old picture. That's the old MSA 2000 camera there, the big brick. So that's a pretty old picture. You know, and Trevor's
who's the new guy with the bright yellow?
That's Vinny Coviello, actually. He's still on the job. So I think he's down at SOC now. Trevor and that's Tommy Fee.
I was going to say that's Fee, right?
Yeah, that's Fee Dog. That's Fee Dog, yeah.
He calls me once in a while.
Yeah.
He's a sick bastard.
He's a sick dude.
Yeah,
Dude, he'd be a funny guy to have on the show. I don't know if we get him to shut up, but he'd be a funny guy on the show.
I don't know.
Tommy was great. You just give him a project in the firehouse, and you know he'd disappear for a while.
We can ask him about the insurrection.
We can ask him about the insurrection.
How can you not in jail?
Hold on, I'm going to put him on the list. Hold on.
How can you not in jail, Tommy?
Oh God.
What can you talk about? Tell us about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, you know, a lot of fun times, a lot of interesting times. Guys were great there. You know, I didn't have to.
Mislinski?
I didn't. No. You got like Nice, Hoffman. It's like Paul and Murata, maybe. I can't see. It's a little small.
Johnny Drew was there as lieutenant too.
Yeah, Drew came over. You know, we had at the end we had I went through 4 captains. So I had DeLuca, I had Tedeschi, then Thor Johannesson for a short time, and then Saporito when I left. So, but for a while, you know,
still there? Is he getting out?
He's still there, yeah. But we had Tedeschi, Brady, who Brady just got out, myself and Drew for quite a while there before. And when I retired, Drew went over to 5.
Saporito's still there, right? Is that what you just said, Kevin?
Saporito's still there. Yeah. I think, yeah.
Yeah,
he's got to be getting close too.
Who's Saporito?
They catch some great work down there. Great work down there.
Yeah, like you said it before, the best thing is that we always had to deal with. We had to get out quick and try to beat Rescue 4 in, bro. So you guys for them. I mean, like you said, you either walking
And
out,
you had a division in the quarter. So
right?
Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah, it was definitely a plus. You
Yeah.
know.
What do you want to eat tonight, Chief? Oh, sure. What?
They kind of eat on their own. You know, I pushed for a while to get them to eat with us on Sunday nights. You know, just to see faces and get to know everybody in the company. But
Mhm.
not everybody like that. You know, but it is what it is. But the
Did
thing
you
about
go
SOC is like we're citywide. You know, like what was the longest run you ever had, Louis? Like
Oh my
got a
goodness
ticket to
gracious.
respond to something.
I don't know. Fall, man.
I went out to
I mean,
Long
you guys.
Island. I went to a guy in a trench in Long Island, all the way out in Long Island.
Oh, you went to that? Yep.
Yeah, with Rescue 4.
I got to run on a windy day one day to the 10th Battalion of Manhattan for scaffolding.
Oh my
like
God.
you just don't know where you're gonna go. We had a fire in Coney Island one day. We were the first squad.
I would cringe.
It was
for-
over by the time we got there, but
for Manhattan boxes. I would cringe to go
Yeah.
into Manhattan, like to some person in the water somewhere or some
Right.
shit, like some crazy shit.
Dude, I had to run almost to my house in Long Beach because 270 was out. It was right off of the JFK Expressway. I'm like,
there.
holy shit!
Yeah.
It's like 5 minutes to my house in Long Beach.
Yeah, I mean it's you just don't know where you're gonna go. We went up to the Spite and Dival train derailment. I mean it was later on into the operation, but we went. You just don't know where you're gonna end up. Being in SOC.
Yep,
The runs come in and you're going wherever it is.
that's what the Captain Murphy used to say. Anything big that goes on in the city, you're going now. So
That's it.
Yeah,
and that's the one thing about being in these companies is the opportunities are there. There's always something that could come along.
mhm.
Hurricane Sandy 270 was like the first engine in all the fires down there. They drove through the water. You just don't know what you're going to be doing.
Yep. Yes, you are correct, Rob. That was the Rosalind Nassau Trench rescue.
Yeah, that's yep.
Oh, look at Patty Lee saying his father was a deputy chief in the 13th, 270 from 66 to 84.
I didn't
Wow.
even know that.
Look at that. That Patty Lee. That's all right. All right. So,
Even the plane crash in the Rockaways, we were doing the Hammer teams after 9/11. I mean, you think
Yep.
about what was going on back then, that's when we did it with the cops. So that
Yeah.
day I was assigned to 10 truck, up by 273's quarters. So I go there and they're like, you can't come in. I go, what do you mean I can't come in? They're like, Lieutenant doesn't want any of you firemen anywhere near here. He goes, you go to the firehouse down the street and hang out there. So I'm like, really? So I go down to 273 quarters. I knock on the door. They're like, oh, you're the Hammer team? Fire marshal's in the back. He goes, you in on lunch? I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm in on lunch, So me and the fire marshal watching TV, like hanging out. And then, we hear sirens and screeching out front. We're like, what the hell? And all of a sudden they're like, the cops are here for you. You guys must have a run, So we go walking out and they're like, get in the fucking van, get in the van, get in the van. And they take off like a rocket. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? They're like, we're going to a plane crash in the Rockaways. I'm like, we're in Flushing. Like, what the hell's going on, And, sure enough, we drove all the way down there, and walked around evacuating houses and stuff. And, it was like, we're just hanging out with a couple cops, but, that's the thing about SOC. You just don't know what you're going to be doing next.
Yep. Something's going down.
Well, you did all the other stuff too, right? I mean, you were in the SOC. Were you in the SOC? You were in the SOC task force, right? And then,
I was in the SOC task force.
What the Hurricane Harvey in Texas, bro?
Yep.
Right, he did
So
all you saw
picture's-
stuff.
Yeah, that picture's from Harvey. We got sent. It was a long drive down there, but we drove all the way down, and they sent us to Angleton, Texas, which is south of Houston. This was a flooded neighborhood. We went in probably 7-8 miles by boat. Trying to evacuate different areas and animals and stuff like that.
Who is that?
And,
Santos?
yeah, that's Torres, and the other guy's Kevin Yoos. He's a ESU cop. But we couldn't even talk to our team managers and stuff by radio. That's how far we were in. We were using cell phones, and that picture of the little dog. I actually had to jump in the water and get him. And
It doesn't even
he's
look
trying to
like
fight. Yeah,
Nip a little
it's
something.
mustache.
yeah.
Nip it at you.
But it was very interesting. The Tony ESU cop was my rescue team manager. That's a 3-legged dog, by the way. We were chasing him around. But
I hope you bought him.
He's getting around just fine.
so yeah, so I remember one point we were going around, you know, we had to cut fences and let, you know, some cattle and horses out of their areas because, you know, they were saying the hoofs, when they get wet, they can actually start to rot and the animals can die. So we were just cutting fences, letting animals move around into dry land, stuff like that. And, you know, bringing out dogs and different things. And, you know, they were joking around. Like some of the guys were like, I think we just stole somebody's animals off their back porch, you know, like, because some people were still there in their homes.
Yeah, they stayed.
You know, and,
Right.
Yeah, we were trying to do the right thing. And, you know, we pulled up to this one lady's house, you know, it was kind of dry, you know, but everything around is wet. And we're banging on the door and it's a little old lady. She's got the TV on. She goes, I don't need any help. I'm like, oh, she goes, where you boys from? And we're like, we're from New York, ma'am. She's like, seen you boys roll into town on that TV over there? She's just like joking around with us, you know. So she goes, I guess the New Yorkers just figured out how big the size of Texas is, didn't you? And I go, yes, ma'am. You know, like,
hell yeah.
Goes, I don't need anything, you know. But so at one point we're driving around the other side and we see these animals, you know, and they were like ostriches, you know, like, or whatever they were in a cage. So I call up the rescue team manager on the phone. I go, Tony, get the cameras out in the ASPCA. He was like, why? What do you got? What do you got for me? I go, we got 2 ostriches. He goes, you got what? I go, we got 2 ostriches in the boat. We're on our way out. And he was like, no. And I'm like, no, we left them there. You know, they were in dry land, so we left them there. But you know, we did what we could down there. You know, it was tough. But you know, some of these homes had water right up to the roof line, and you know, I felt so bad for these people. But
yeah, it sucks.
You know, it is what it is. Yeah.
And then you did.
Yeah, we got to do.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, and then I think I put a picture of SOC Task Force. That's down at Perry, Georgia, at the Guardian Center. We went down there, 3 days of training, deployment. We did, you know, water rescue, building collapse, and they had like a tunnel to simulate a train, you know, explosion. You know, down in the bottom. Yeah. So you were down there, Louis, too?
I did the logistics for that. So that was the one where they had the, you know, amputated arms and stuff. Yeah. They had, you know, the doctors.
They amputated a guy's leg down there on a cadaver. Yeah, it was pretty wild. They're like a giant slab of concrete. I think it was like a 20-foot piece of slab on top of a, you know, a cadaver. And they had the rescue medics in there cutting the legs off. Yeah.
Wow, that's fucking hardcore.
Yeah. And then the one guy's leg, they didn't know it had like a titanium rod in it. And they had trouble cutting the thing off.
It ain't cutting.
Get the squad near.
Get the torches.
But you know, it was great being a boss. You know, especially in special ops. I was very honored and privileged to do it. And with everybody in the whole command, but the guys in 270 were just, you know, they made my job easy. I mean, when I first got there, it was a little rough. And I remember one of the first jobs, DiBernardo was the chief. It was like a vacant, and I was UFO at the time, and it was like a corner building. And we pull up, and I go walking up to the command post, and the chief's like, "Oh, good, Kev, just keep all you guys intact because you know this building's kind of screwed up." And I turn around, and I'm like, there's not one guy from 270 next to me. And I'm like, okay, chief, no problem. I got it. You know, like, so I go walking away slightly and I'm like, looking, I don't want to say anything on the radio. I'm like, so all of a sudden I see like Jimmy Brady's in the building. He's like, Luke, come on, you got to get in here. I go, you're supposed to be out here with me. You know, like, so, you know, after that, I got everybody back to the apparatus. I go, listen, guys, I understand the deal. I've worked here a couple times, even, you know, as just detailed. And I go, at least one of you guys got to stay with me. I know I'm just a covering guy, but at least one of you guys.
I need one prop at least.
You know? But you know, after that, you know, they got comfortable with me. You know, everybody did their thing. You know, I always checked in with the chief, did the right thing, and you know, we made sure that we were doing the right job every single time. You know, and you know, I always looked at, you know, there were 3 things, and I know it sounds kind of corny because I hate acronyms, but you know, I would always look, listen, and feel every time I came up, you know, as the boss. And I'd always be looking around, you know, as I'm approaching the scene, you know, looking at the building, the smoke, like that whole coal as well. It kind of just goes through your head. But I look for apparatus positioning. I look for the trucks. I would always look for the fast pack sticker as I'm walking up, because if it's not on this side of the rig, it's on that side. Just in case somebody went down. Looking at where the lines are, or if I had to get a line. Just trying to see everything that's going on in the scene. Always listening to the radio. What's going on. Listening to the guys that are around you. Just even the chiefs talking amongst themselves. Listen to what's happening around that. And then what's your feel of the situation? What's the feel of your emotions, the people around you? Are people raising their voices on the radio? Is the chaos happening? Are they not getting the fire, what you're supposed to be doing? But I always go by that look, listen, and feel kind of concept as I approach the scene. And then, where are my resources going to be best used? So, the chief gives us direction. And then sometimes we have to kind of, tell the chief, hey, this is what we can do for you, or what would you like us to do for you? Make suggestions, So, sometimes it works to our advantage, sometimes it doesn't. But our job as the boys to justify our existence as the squad. What are we here for? We're here to fill in the gaps. Make sure that the job gets done in the end of the day, and make sure everybody goes home safe. Right? We're the last people in and out. So. That was always kind of the things I was looking for, and then get the big picture. You have to do it. But, if you're not justifying why we're there, and I don't need to be at every fire, you pull up to some of these jobs. I don't need to do a smoke walk. If you don't need me, I'll go home. I don't. But when things are going wrong, we're there, and I would hear guys comment and, say, oh, they weren't doing their job, or these guys weren't doing their jobs. And even amongst other companies, not even squads, and I said, I even said to one of the guys in the squad one day, I go, when you hear they're pulling people out, I mean, legit, we pulled up on this fire and one of the guys made a comment like, oh, they didn't do the job. They didn't do this. They didn't do that. I go, hold on a second. Let's talk back at the rig. And I said, when I hear that they're pulling victims out, they got 1045s. I go, what are you thinking? And he goes, well, I go, I'll tell you what I'm thinking. A green light goes off on my head as the squad. Because if they're pulling people out, they're doing their job. The job is to get those people out. But what I'm thinking is, what were they supposed to be doing that's not getting done now? Either the search, they're not helping. Right. They're not helping the engine get into position. They're not opening up. So those are the areas that we have to now navigate and get to. When they come back and finish up what they're doing, that's fine. Then we move on. But we fill in those holes and gaps in those fires. We got to make sure that the job gets done at the end of the day.
I like it.
Agreed.
Very true.
I like it, Kev. I think he might have gave it to us already, but I think now it's time to give the real old school tip of the day.
And I didn't even talk about half the stuff I wanted to.
We
talked about this earlier, right?
I know.
Yeah, bro. Oh, we got to do a couple of commercials too. But let's do his old school tip of the day first, bro.
Yeah.
I want to hear it from K-Dog. Give it to us, bro.
All right. It's time for the old school tip of the day. Day.
All right.
All right, LT. Take it away.
So I have a couple things. So number one is, I really value training, and I think it's very important that we train and drill or talk about operations every single day or every single tour. There isn't a day that goes by, still to this day, being retired and being in the volleys, I read something about the fire service, whether it's an article. I subscribe to Fire Engineering, Firehouse, like I always have, Fire Department Training Network, stuff like that. But always be reading something about the job and learning something. One of the things I like to do in the squad at roll call was tool of the day. I'd have the junior guy pull a tool right at roll call and teach it to the rest of us like we don't know anything about the tool. Go over the pressures, go over how it works. Even if it just takes 10 minutes, just go through a tool quick. At least you got something done in that tour. All right. And then this way, if the day goes to hell, you go to a bunch of jobs, you're very busy, at least you did something. But always talk to the people around you, talking to the kitchen table, listen to the senior guys. They got a lot to share with you, and you can learn a lot just listening. Number two, and it's one of my big pet peeves, is gear. The only thing that the job gives you or anywhere is personal protective equipment. Your gear is for you personally, and you need to take care of it. In the inside of that piece of gear, it's a big warning label that tells you how dangerous the job is. And the only thing you have to help protect you is your gear. And if you looked at that picture earlier of my gear getting burnt up a little bit, I was wearing my gear all the way to the hilt. My hood was on, my chin strap was on. I did not have one burn on my body, and I was basically on fire. But that's from properly taking care of my gear and wearing it properly. Every run you go on, put your gear on, 100%. SCBA on your back, you don't know what you're going to. I've had CO runs that I wound up pulling up to, they were fires. I pulled up to gas leaks that I pulled up to. It was a second alarm on arrival. You just don't know what's going to happen. Think of every run as if it's a fire and dress appropriately. And you can always take gear off. It's very harder to dress up quickly. It's easier to take things off when you find out it's just a nonsense run. But treat every run as if it's 100% a fire. And the third thing is size up. Anybody can get better at size up. I don't care if you have 1 year or 40 years on the job. You should take every day you walk down the street, and I tell guys when I teach at the Fire Academy out here in Suffolk, I want you to just take a week of every building you walk into and size it up. I don't care if it's your brothers, your sisters, your mothers, your girlfriend, Home Depot, wherever you go, take 10, 15 seconds, size up the building, and learn as much as you can before you walk through that door. Because the more you practice it, the better you're going to get at it. And at 2 o'clock in the morning, you don't want to have to overthink. You want to be able to look at the building, look at the size of it, look at where the fire is, look at if it's a peaked roof, flat roof, how many windows are across the front, how deep the building is. You want to know that as fast as possible. And the only way you can do that is by practicing. So practice doing size up every single day, and you will get better at it. So those are my 3 quick tips.
Beautiful. Very nice. Very nice.
Nice job, kid.
Nice job.
Thank you, sir.
Great job, Mr. Yoos. Thank you.
Yes.
I'm glad I got to sit next to you at the book signing. I learned so much about you. 101.
Episode 175.
Well,
Holy
my
moly.
wife gave me a bigger plate of food than you, so I'm sorry.
Dude, I did notice how his wife notes on him. I did point that out to him. He's got a good one. He's part of the club, Ruffy, the I Married Up Club.
He knows how to do it.
Yeah. All right, God, let's do the old school health.
My wife's a saint. She's a saint.
Yeah. All right, Stan, here we go.
The First Responders Center for Excellence is a not-for-profit organization dedicated to protecting the lives and livelihoods of first responders. Their education and research initiatives aim to bring greater awareness and understanding the challenges to the health, safety, and well-being of firefighters, EMS personnel, and other first responders, too. They are an affiliate of the National Fallen Firefighter Foundation.
Okay, tonight's health and safety tip is, it goes in line with what Lieutenant Yoos said. Protect your health. Use your SCBA throughout the duration of firefighting operations, including overhaul. And I wanted to throw up, what did Mark say right here?
Can we throw up the Joey D Foundation too?
I will.
Yeah,
I also
hold
wanna
on.
put this
Tommy
up.
Bone passed away today.
Tommy Bone passed away
yes.
9 years ago today, so keep in your prayers.
God bless.
And let's throw up the Joey D, because Lieutenant Yoos is part of a big part of the Joey D Foundation. And
So,
there you go.
Joey was my best friend, and we started the Joey D Foundation. 10 years now, we've given out over $1 million in grants and bailout ropes and safety equipment. We run 2 seminars now a year. March is in Texas, 1st through the 3rd, and then November in Suffolk County. But I'm vice president of the foundation, and we're going to do everything we can to try to help save firefighters' lives and make sure they have ropes and proper equipment to keep people safe. So anything you could do to help support the Joey D Foundation would be greatly appreciated. And we're coming to the end of the year, and you can get your donation in and your nice tax-exempt letter, and we'll give you a nice letter for your tax credit.
Excellent.
So that's joeydfoundation.org.
.org,
Yeah. I'll put it in the chat.
All right, and we'll also we're going to be going down to the Joey D in Texas, where Kev's going to buy us a nice big fat steak, right, Ruff? I think that's what he said.
That's what I heard.
I heard something like that.
You might
Listen,
cramp up.
March
I don't know.
1st, March
think he's
1st to 3rd, we will have the registration open very soon. So
They'll be doing classes. We might be doing a live show from there. Probably be doing a live show from there.
that'd be great.
And we're coming out with a new shirt just for that. I've been working on it. I'm going to tell Louis about it later. It's going to be awesome.
Awesome.
Yes.
Leave it for the end.
Leave it when I'm talking to him by myself, so he doesn't get all. But listen, I hate to bore you guys, but listen, we were off on Monday, so guys, we got to roll those other 2 commercials. I'm sorry, fellas.
No worries.
You're all, I don't know why you're all fuzzy, Fonz.
I'll fix that in a second. Don't worry. Don't worry about that shit.
That way.
He actually looks really good, doesn't he, Ruff?
Oh,
Yeah.
man, look at that shit. I don't even want to play the commercial. All right, here we go.
ArmorTough interlocking floor tiles are the best choice to replace new or aging, stained, or cracked concrete or epoxy floors. Here's why. ArmorTough tiles come with a lifetime warranty and are usually installed in 1 or 2 days, depending on the size of your station, with virtually no disruption in daily operation. ArmorTough interlocking tiles are guaranteed from chipping, cracking, peeling, breaking, or staining. Once installed, the tiles are non-skid and non-slip and meet the ADA standards for the friction coefficient. The tiles are stain resistant and impervious to any chemicals or volatiles that are used in the fire service. Once installed, your floor will be easy to clean with just soap and water. Install an ArmorTough tile floor in your apparatus bays, offices, training rooms, workshops, exercise rooms, kitchens, banquet halls, or any other room in your station. Call Vince today for a no-obligation quote at 908-917-7697. Why install a breakable epoxy floor that will need replacing in 5 to 10 years when you could have a floor that will last a lifetime? Drop a halogen on an ArmorTough floor and you won't see any damage. Don't try this with concrete or epoxy. Join the hundreds of career and volunteer fire departments nationwide who have chosen an ArmorTough interlocking tile floor. ArmorTough interlocking tiles are half the price of epoxy and will last a lifetime without issue. Again, call Vince today for a no-obligation quote at 908-917-7697.
Oh, wonderful. What are you laughing
Dave
at?
Fox said, "Should we try that with epoxy?"
Listen, we're getting a new commercial. I just sent Vince a thing. Send me some new commercials.
So we need some new
All right, do
material.
the what do you call it? The fire store, the last one, and then we're gonna jet out of here.
All right, here we go.
The Fire Store, equipping protectors with passion. Every decision we make as a company is about you, our customer. We wouldn't be where we are today without you, and we don't take that lightly. The Fire Store started by simply seeing and fulfilling a need in the fire service. It's how we operated then, and it's how we operate today. No matter how much we grow, we will always staff active or retired firefighters, police officers, EMTs, and paramedics. With over 1,000 years of combined public safety experience, we know our products and our customers, and will never compromise on quality because your safety matters. We understand that having the right gear can mean the difference between life and death. Our goal is to get you the gear you need when you need it at prices you can afford. Visit us at thefirestore.com for everything but the truck, and shop our family of brands including Streamlight, MSA, Lion, Fleer, and more.
Sweet. Don't forget about the new Long Island trade show. Me, Ruffy, your buddy Kevin Yoos will be out there, Lieutenant Yoos. What is that, February what? We said it in the chat.
February 2nd, 3rd, 4th.
2nd, 3rd, 4th. We will be in booth 142. Come out and see me, Ruffy, and Kevin. Everybody hangs out there, bro. We all the cool kids hang out at the booth. We got Frankie.
You got the booze.
Kevin's good. Kevin's going to sing.
He's going to do his own personal live rendition of me. All right, guys. What's today anyway? Thursday?
Thursday, so we don't have a show
Happy
Monday.
New Year, guys. We have no show on Monday. Thursday, we're coming back. We don't know what we have yet. Monday, we will have Chief Jonas on talking about Patty Brown. We're doing a tribute to Patty Brown. The guy was like a real-life superhero, for crying out loud. Once you hear about this guy. Amazing stuff. So have a happy New Year. Mr. Yost, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank
really
you.
appreciate it.
Kevin,
Great
honor
show.
and privilege.
brother.
Yeah, excellent job.
Thank you.
Excellent career. Excellent stories. Gonzo, nice hat. Get back to work. Shave that horrible beard. What do you got going on there? I don't know what else.
I want to shave. Yeah.
And we'll see you guys.
Fresh year
in
coming out.
2024. We got. Oh, should we tell them about the guy you just landed today?
What do I got? I got Paulie Solman coming
Paulie
on.
Solman, dude. First dude nozzle. He had the knob
Happy
at the
Land.
Happy Land Fire.
Happy Land Social Club. Yeah.
58.
He was in Rescue
58.
2, Squad
28
41.
truck.
Was he a 58 truck too?
28.
Was it 28?
He was in
Busy.
45 engine, I think, for Happy Land,
45
right?
in. Yeah.
Yeah,
45.
man. So you want to catch that one? That's in February something. February 8th or something? February something.
February
something.
4th, I believe, or 5th.
February
something.
4th. Check us
I gotta
out.
look.
We'll see you in 2024, guys. Kev, thanks for coming on. Ruff, Gons,
you.
Happy New Year. We'll talk to you
Happy
soon.
New Year. Happy New Year,
Well,
everyone.
boom. Stay low and go.
Happy New Year.
All right, everybody. We'll see you at the big one.
Got it for you. We'll see you at the top floor. How about that, huh? No.
Oh, good one. All right. With that hat, I hope not.
All right, guys. Have a good one. Good night.